The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
We have reached single digits. The Jets will be on the clock in just 9 days. There's some new reports out there breaking down what they might do with that number 7 pick. We'll talk with Jets insider, Jets analyst, Robby Sabo in his weekly spot. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started. Man, our Jets are primed to win another offseason, baby. We bleed Jets green each and every day. Will the playoff drought finally end? Kings of the offseason, baby. This is what we do. At least we have Garrett Wilson. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinn Williams. Prepare to be underdogs. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show. Here we go here on a Tuesday. It's tax day. It's also just 9 days away from the NFL draft. The New York Jets are on the clock at pick number 7. What will they do? We'll break that down and a whole lot more on this show. Quick reminder that this show you're watching is also available in audio form. We are on Apple Podcasts. We are on Spotify. Just search The Jake Asman Show. It comes right up, and you can listen to anything you missed from the YouTube show. Take the show on the go and help us out. Leave a 5-star review. All right, let's talk to a good friend of the show, the co-founder of JetsXFactor.com, the great Robby Sabo. Robby, happy tax day. Happy 9 days away from the draft.
Yes, when you put those two things together, it's a grand old day. Let me tell you.
I am excited to stop talking about the same players for the last 4 to 5 months, and it'd be very jet-like. We saw this with McDonald a couple of years ago. We talk about all these players we think are the pick at 7, and then something crazy happens, and they end up with a completely different player than any of us could have imagined.
Yeah, I mean, hello, Shamar Stewart, Texas A&M, the old alum of the head coach. Yeah, hey, it's when you really get to the heart of the matter, who generates the narratives? During mock draft season, during draft season, sure as hell wasn't Glenn or the Jets organization. It's the insiders, the beat writers. Yes, they drive it mainly, but it's also, a preconceived positional need notion before we even get to that point with the insiders. Fans have an idea, pundits, onlookers have an idea as the season is ending. Let's be honest. That's how far the cycle stretches. So yeah, it's, would it shock me if it's an edge? No, it wouldn't shock me. It would be surprising, a tad surprising, but it wouldn't shock me.
Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. If you have a question for Robby at any point throughout the show, super chat it in. That is the best way for us to acknowledge it and get it up on the screen as quickly as we can. You brought up Shamar Stewart. So Samini, in his weekly notes column, he talked about Stewart maybe not as an option at 7, but he said the Jets are doing a lot of work into Stewart. Now, this is a guy who only has, 4.5 career sacks in college, but I mean, he's a freak athlete, workout warrior, as they say. And this is a guy that Rich noted could be an option for the Jets in a trade-back scenario. Your thoughts, 1, on Stewart, and then 2, do you see the path for the Jets actually being able to move back in this draft?
Yeah. Stewart, again, I think it'll be surprising at the end of the day because we're leaning on athletic traits mainly. Jets fans are going to have nightmares of Vernon Golston. Let's be honest. It's disrespectful to Stewart to bring up Golston's name. For anyone really, especially early before they even get drafted. So I get that. I'm sorry to Shamar for that, but that's the history. I'm trying to put myself in the mind of the Jets fan and Glenn, and Stewart. I think he's on the short list. short to medium list. Let me put it that way. Right outside he's on the bubble, right outside that top 3. Trade back, I think it's gonna be hard. It is always very, very difficult. And I think we take it for granted when coaches have traded back in the past. Parcells, you go back to that non-Peyton Manning draft where he didn't come out. When he didn't come out, it was the Jets traded back, and it's not that easy. It really isn't. Quarterback, Dart, that's the question. Dart was invited to the draft. He'll be there in person. Could that generate some more interest and more buzz and more hype and more, GMs wanting to get on the phone? Perhaps.
This was what Rich wrote about Stewart, basically saying that he could be a first-round guy because of his physical skills, be a stunner at 7, but could be an option in a trade back. I mean, look, if the Jets weren't picking in the top 7, then Stewart would make more sense later on in the draft because at that point, you're potentially drafting for high upside talent later on because you're a much better team if you're picking later in the draft. Jets are at pick 7. If they stay put, they got to come away with a player that's going to help them in 2025, not down the line. Maybe if Stewart hits his potential, they got to go out there and get someone that could help them immediately. They have glaring holes right now on the offensive line, at tight end, at defensive tackle. If they're going to consider Mason Graham, like there's legitimate needs on this team for them to basically mess around with a projected edge rusher that we don't know what he's going to be as a player yet.
Agreed. And I don't think it's going to be Stewart at 7. I think the only way it is Stewart is if they trade back. But the idea itself, the fact that we're even considering it can't be a bad thing. Let's throw that out there right away and give a hat tip because that tells me that, they're buttoned up. And I've said that in the past about Douglas. And to be fair to Douglas, even though it didn't work out and he deserved to get the X, he was buttoned up as well. I just think he failed in picking the coach and the quarterback. The quarterback killed him. So, listen, it's a mystery, and it's a very, very good thing that it's a mystery. There are several options. Mason Graham is the hot name. I mean, if we were talking, 3 weeks ago, Mason Graham wasn't even really being talked about. It was just the tight end and the tackle, maybe Campbell as a second tackle. Graham, he's close to 320. Hasn't played 1 Tech 2I very much because Wink is a 3-4 at Michigan. So on tape, it's all 3 Tech and outward, really. Rarely is he inside. The question is and I said this last week, does Glenn think he could take to the squared up at the line of scrimmage and react type the block shedding and block holding that he's going to teach? And if he thinks that, Graham is, he has, in terms of motor, in terms of that football dude, he's the guy Glenn wants. It'll come down to fitting along that D-line.
Well, Graham is meeting with them now for the 3rd time. He met with them at the Combine.
Yep.
He met with them the day before his pro day. Ian Rappaport was the first I saw reporting that the Jets actually took Graham out to dinner. And then they have Graham coming to their facility for a visit today. So they're using one of their 30 visits you're allowed, top 30 visits on Mason Graham. And look, I like Mason Graham a lot. The question is, and I know Joe Blewett over at your guys' side, JetX, he came on the show and gave us a good breakdown on Graham on film. Yeah. How does he fit with the Jets? Does he fit next to Quinnen Williams as another 3 Tech guy? What defensive scheme would Glenn and Steve Wilkes have if you are going to take Mason Graham? And no one could really deny Graham's talent if they took him at 7. I lean with taking an offensive player over Graham, but there's a pathway for him being there at 7 if the Jaguars are in love with, let's say, Jalen Walker and they go with a different defensive player. Then all of a sudden he's there at 7, and what would the Jets do in that spot?
It's tricky. I feel better that I know who Graham is as a person and a football player as opposed to Membo. I don't know much about Membo, and that's a problem in terms of trying to project. Membo fits what they're trying to do, their vision, better than any player in the top 10 where they're projected to draft at 7. There's no doubt about it. He's a mauler. He's a right side, just roll you over, step on your neck, and destroy you in the run game and love every bit of it. What kind of person does he match that Graham quality that they're after, that Glenn wants, in a Parcellsian type way? I don't know. I think so, but I don't know. I just feel more comfortable with Graham. But that's the juxtaposition. Like Graham is that dude, that player who would rank number one for me. Membu's the guy who fits number one for me. But I tend to agree with you. I think it's going to be right tackle or Warren, to be honest. It feels like based on the free agency signings. I mean, I know they signed a lineman or two, but based on those signings, it points in the direction of offense. But Graham slipping is the question. Will he slip?
I just think it's funny that Tom McShay comped him to Quinnen Williams and another top prospect that has been frequently comped to another Jet Pro Bowl level player, Matthew Golden. People say he's like Garrett Wilson when you watch him on tape. So, it's funny how some Jet fans want to trade away these guys. Meanwhile, respected NFL draft analysts who do this for a living year round are saying, hey, here's the comp for how good this player is as we're the top 15 pick. It's like guys already on the Jets. There is existing talent on this roster already.
There's existing talent, and I'm writing an article. The roster is a lot better than people think. And Glenn is in the perfect position where everyone is doubting them. Everyone underrates them right now. And again, I think I mentioned it on the show. My brain cells are few and far between, but which players have hit their ceiling with the Jets so far? I could think of one, Sauce Gardner. That's it. If you go down the line, Jermaine, AVT, Fashanu, Breece, even Garrett. Garrett has had a great start to his career, but he hasn't hit his ceiling yet. If you look at it that way, dude, they haven't hit their ceiling. They haven't even come close yet. And that's the nail in the coffin of me telling me it's been coaching all these years that have doomed them. I saw someone in the chat. Who was that? Jay Lepseller, Sabo, New York State champion, Port Jervis. Jay, are you from Port? But it reminded me, yes, it's coaching. These guys haven't hit their ceilings, and their roster is much better. And based on vision, based on ground and pound and mauling, Membu is still that leader in the clubhouse, like Rory winning the Masters, pretty much.
Coaching. It matters. We saw
it's football. And by the way, Blewett, what was your general sense? I haven't seen the show yet about Blewett breaking down Graham. Did he just get into Graham or did he get into more guys?
We did a couple guys. We did a little expedited Blewett film review. We did Mason Graham. We did a little Will Campbell. Did a lot on Membu.
Yep.
And we did Tyler Warren.
Nice. What was the overall feel about Graham? Pretty much what we're talking about. 3 tech, really similar to Quinnen. Not sure if he fits, basically.
Pretty much. Yeah. He I think if it was up to him, I think someone in the chat might remember because I have so many different people on giving opinions on this. I think he was leaning Warren with the pick.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
If they couldn't trade back. I think most Jet fans agree this would be a good draft if you can move back a little bit, find a way to do it. 100% for sure. And you know what? It's becoming more likely, I think, based on the fact that it feels like Shedeur slipping. And, I can't disagree with it. I get constant hate for this, but I didn't understand why he was projected as a top 3 guy to begin with. I just don't I'm not saying he's a bum, but I just don't understand that initial projection. So I wouldn't be surprised if he slips. Well, even if he slips, and he's there at 7 for the Jets, are the Saints going to come up and take him? Like, I don't know what teams are dying to get Shedeur Sanders. That's the thing. Like, I could see him, if the Saints don't take him, I could see him falling all the way to 21 and being there for Pittsburgh to take him if they wanted to do that.
The old Aaron Rodgers wait in the green room.
Realistically, look at the top 10 for a moment, right?
Yeah.
Tennessee's not taking him. It doesn't feel like Cleveland's taking him. I know the Giants are giving him a private workout, and maybe the plan for the Giants is if he does start to slide, they come back into round 1 to take him and get the 5th-year option on the guy. But New England's not going to take him. Jacksonville's not taking him. I thought the Raiders made a lot of sense at the beginning of the offseason, but after hiring Pete Carroll, extending Geno Smith now, I don't see it. The Jets, I don't think, would do it. It would defy everything they have said about Justin Fields if they add Shedeur Sanders at 7. Carolina, no. New Orleans is a possibility, but if he doesn't go to New Orleans, he could really start to slide.
Agreed. And I think it will happen, to be honest. And what's the temperature of Giants fans going to be like when they pass on Shador? I'm not sure I'm sure it's not going to be 90% up in arms, but there's going to be a decent chunk that are going to be yelling and screaming.
Well, I think a lot of Giants fans also are split. They don't want him. They don't believe
Agreed.
he's worth
Agreed. He's in the polarization camp like Rodgers, like a Rodgers. So I get it. It'll be split, but I think it'll be very polarized. Like I said, it'll be extreme on both sides.
Well, the thing is, the Giant fan that doesn't want Sanders, it could be twofold. You don't want him at 3 because you don't think he's worthy of a top 3 pick, which I tend to agree. I don't see special when I watch him. I think his ceiling is he could be a good starter. I don't know if I would take that guy at pick 3. And then the other thing is, if you're taking a quarterback that high and then this team goes out there and is terrible and they're going to clean house, then you're the Chicago Bears, where you have a quarterback the new regime didn't draft that they're stuck with, or you feel like you're wasting the pick. We talk about this a lot with the Jets. All the timelines then are just off. Like, you want to have your coach and GM aligned, and you want them aligned with the decision when you're drafting a quarterback. That's how good NFL teams are able to run their operation. Like, you don't want quarterback being inherited and having to be propped up by a coaching staff that didn't believe in them. Like, that's where it gets messy. And we all, I think, agree, Brian Dable and Joe Schoen, if they don't win like 8 or 9 games, they're probably getting fired, especially if they go like 6 wins or less. So then you're stuck with a quarterback you didn't draft, and then what? So I think that's part of the Giant fan thinking too. That's why I think he is going to be on the board at 7 for the Jets. And if someone does actually want him, let's make a deal.
You know what I think? Agreed, wholeheartedly. You know what I think is doomed the Giants is the exact opposite of what doomed the Jets, but they did it the wrong way. They didn't stand on principle, the Giants. They catered to the norms. And I talk about this so much with mock drafts. We get wrapped up and we live by it as if it's, the gospel, basically. And if you do that as an organization, you are doomed. And the Giants did that with Daniel Jones, re-signing him. Did they really believe in him? I have a hard time believing they did. Saquon, did they love him, or was it like a running back? The hard knock stuff. They didn't stand on principle. And say what you want about Douglas and Zach and Saleh, they did stand on principle. Zach's our guy, Saleh's our guy, blah, blah, and they just kept forging forward. Unfortunately, I just felt like they had their own coaching staff. So you could mess up going both ways. You got to be a little more flexible, I think.
Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. We'll continue the conversation with Robby Sabo. I do want to mention this, though, because yesterday we announced the winners of the Asmaniac raffle that we did this past week, our Jets retired numbers themed raffle. This week's prizes, as we get right back to it, pretty cool. Signed Keyshawn Johnson throwback Jets helmet, prize number 1. Prize number 2, a signed Al Toon Jets throwback helmet. And prize number 3, a signed Sauce Gardner jersey. The theme, successful Jets first-round picks in honor of this draft being just 9 days away, Mr. Sabo. So those are the top 3 prizes we got. And by the way, I listened to you. I did add a Wayne Corbett prize. That prize was a Wayne Corbett signed football. And Anthony, who was in the chat, he's the one who won it yesterday. So because of you, Robby, Anthony basically was able to win a signed Corbett football.
Anthony, my brother, 2 things. Number 1, I still need Mikey Midnight's address to send him that Corbett photo. So someone's got to get that to me. Number 1. Number 2,
I'll send it to you off air.
Okay. Seeing you. Oh, you don't want to send it on air? That's not a good move. Seeing you stand next to Keyshawn, you'd be a route runner type in the NFL if you were a receiver. Let me tell you.
I'm a Corbett type, scrappy slot guy.
You're not a red zone target, my friend.
I am definitely not at 5'8". I would agree.
Hey, 5'8", it could be a lot worse. 5'8", you ain't doing too bad.
I'm more of the Danny Woodhead type. That'd be my player comp.
Yep.
Frank P with a super chat. He's in the raffle for 5 with this. Thanks for the t-shirt. Jake got it yesterday. Frank, my pleasure. Just wanted to send you something extra for all your support of the show. All right, we got a super chat here from Ricky who says, it was great to get Joe Blewett on. Also spoke to guys about getting Todd Haley on board. Any updates? Yeah, it feels like there was a lot of buzz about Haley joining the staff, and then that kind of just died. Have you heard anything?
Have not. Nothing. And, it's the great Dick Haley's son. What is he doing? Where is he right now? I don't even know what he's doing.
I don't know. I don't know if he's in football. So
Yeah, that's a mystery to me. But no, I haven't heard anything. So I'd be surprised if he does join at this point.
Nathan with a super chat here. Hey, Jake, Grand Junction Jet. Excited about the draft. I'm having my own draft party for all Jet fans. Let's go. Jets, Jets, Jets. Where's your draft party, Nathan? All right. It better not be bigger than my draft party with Fireman Ed.
You got competition. You got competition. What are you going to do?
I do. Make sure you guys buy a ticket. Come to our draft party. Nathan, you are invited to mine as well, but I don't think you live in the New York area. So more than welcome to make it. All right, let's see. Questions for Robby. Write it in. You know, the other report, not really a report, I think we hit on it a little bit last week, was the stuff about Breece Hall and Ashton Genty and all that. Where do you stand on that? Has anything changed in your opinion on the Jets this year with Breece Hall?
No, because his ceiling's way too low. You don't want to trade low. I mean, you sell high, you buy low. That's the principle in trading, basically. And what are you going to get for Hall? I mean, if you get a second rounder, okay, I'm doing it. But you're not going to get a second rounder. Maybe a third. I sincerely doubt it. So if that's the case and that's true, there's no way I'm even thinking about it. Breece can be a serious weapon. You know, watching the games last year, watching the film, I have a tough time with Breece right now because there was something about him that's different. And I see it as mental. He's hesitant. He's not hitting the hole with authority with the schemes that he should. There are some schemes where, okay, you could dance a little bit. You could try to find the home run. That's fine. But to do it on 100% of the plays is a nightmare, especially in the NFL. There were a couple games when I could see his first carry, boom, he hit the hole with authority. And, you know, instead of no gain or 1 yard, he got like 5 or 6 yards. I go, okay, well, he definitely got the message during the week. You could tell right away to start the game. Unfortunately, it didn't last during the game. You just saw it once or twice and it was over. So I have an issue like Braylon I'm really high on in terms of this scheme, hitting the hole, going north-south. That doesn't mean Breece is a lost cause. With receiver 2 being weak, if you have a tight end, this specific scheme where field is going to look to the middle of the field, dump it off, screen game, feature the O-line, rushing game, quarterback design runs, Breece could catch a lot of balls out of the backfield. So I have a tough time believing they're going to find value to trade him. He's much better reserved to be that hybrid type back for them this year.
For what it's worth, Ricky is saying that Todd Haley is one of the analysts on NFL radio on Sirius. So
okay,
at the lead media. Speaking of media, Joe Douglas working for Fox Sports Radio as a draft analyst for night 1.
Yeah, that's a little surprising for me. Not in the mold that he's next Jet. Every ex-Jet does this. It's insane. The Jets are like the feeder program for ESPN and NFL Network. It's mind-boggling.
And Fox.
Yeah, anyone really.
Sanchez is on Fox.
Yeah, or JetX, Corbett. I mean, it's mind-boggling. But Douglas doesn't strike me as the media type guy. I'm the same way. I'm not a media type guy, but in terms of the draft, I think he can provide something. So it'll be interesting to see.
Well, for all his faults, I mean, he is responsible for one of the best draft classes in the history of the Jets.
I still think he did a really great job personnel-wise. It's unforgivable to mess up the coaching, and we'll see. We'll see how it plays out, but I still think that's what happened.
Coaching and the quarterback situation. He just never got it right.
Quarterback, absolutely.
The two most important things as a GM, your coach and your quarterback, he got it really, really wrong. And that get him in. You can't overcome that when the rest of the roster is not in terrible shape. Like he's not leaving behind, an expansion level roster that he inherited. Like that team was so bad that he took over. It's not that. I mean, there are players on this team for sure.
Imagine a world where Glenn gets out like gangbusters this year. They shock everyone, go 10-7, make the playoffs. Jermaine's in the Pro Bowl. Breece makes the Pro Bowl. Garrett, obviously. How surprising would that be, number one? And number two, if that happens, how do we suddenly look at Douglas's personnel moves? Like, that's not a far-fetched notion, folks. We gotta keep that in mind because we've seen it time and again where coaching change means all the difference in the world. We haven't seen it with the Jets, obviously, in 15 years, but in rule of thumb in sports, we've seen it time and again.
Comments, questions, super chats. They always cut the line around here. No one's gifted a membership yet. If you gift the membership, a reminder you're in the raffle this week for a chance to win a signed Keyshawn helmet, signed Al Toon helmet, signed Sauce Gardner jersey. Our top prizes in this week's As Maniac raffle, our 23rd raffle since December 1st. So we'll keep that going because you guys keep supporting the show, and it means a ton. Rich Samini wrote that, according to league sources, the top 3 candidates for the Jets at 7 are Warren, Campbell, and Membu. Are those the 3 you'd have in mind as well if we basically say, hey, the 6 picks in front of the Jets go similar to what most of the mocks have it?
Yeah. Genty is a no-go for me. Shamar's too early. The other edge, Jalen, it's too, I don't know. He's right there, but and they definitely need another edge. Don't get me wrong. But right tackle, to get your quarterback. See, here's the thing. Like you said, Jake, offense. To get your quarterback, give him every opportunity to get off on the right foot. Considering the head coach is a defensive mind, considering you have more talent on the defensive side of the ball still, I think it's that much more important that it's Membu or Warren. But yeah, top 3, I would say Graham would be that third guy.
Yeah, I mean, to me, there's a ton of logic in each of these 3 picks on the screen there. Graham, I get it. It makes sense. I would hope if he is there, you could find someone that wants to come up for him if he's as good as people think.
Yes, but it's going to be hard for them to pass up if he is there, to be honest.
Yep.
And you know what? I don't know that he can't play more of an inside role. Like, just because we didn't see it in college, he's much bigger than Quinnen. Like, he's a big boy, 318, close to 320. That's 20 pounds on Quinnen. So, yes, he's more of a 3-tech. That's what we see on film, but that doesn't mean he can't play opposite him and he can't contrast him in style. So how far does Glenn go with that if he drops? Because in terms of person, in terms of motor, the intrinsic stuff, I think he's number 1 for them. But the fit is the big question. And if he drops, that's not a significant drop, but it would be a semi-surprising drop.
We're talking with Robby Sabo, co-founder of JetsXFactor.com. Weekly spot on the show. Make sure you guys use promo code Asman and get a JetX membership. Get all their bonus content, get through the paywall, and really enjoy some of the big-time stuff that JetX produces. First month is 99 cents when you use promo code Asman, so definitely check that out. Let's get to the calls now, shall we? Adam is too cool. I see you're on the line, and you start us off on the program. Hello, Adam.
Hey, how's it going? Hey, Robby. Good to talk to you.
What's up, buddy?
So there's usually surprises in every draft. Which team is the most likely to just do something off script in front of the Jets?
In front of the Jets?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'll go. I would say Raiders normally, but since Pete's there, I don't know. Maybe the Jags. Maybe. What do you think? You got something in mind? I could tell you're.
No, I actually think it starts with Cleveland. I mean, who knows what direction they're going to go in, right?
I think they're taking Hunter.
I think they probably. But if they took Carter, would that shock people?
That wouldn't shock me. I mean, I've been saying for weeks already, Adam, in whatever order, I think it's going to be Hunter, Carter, or Carter, Hunter. Like the first 3 players off the board are going to be Cam Ward, and then pick whichever player you think makes more sense for Cleveland. The Giants will take whichever one's left.
Yeah. So I guess in the end, like picking at 7 is going to be very interesting, just because I don't think there's a player that's going to drop to us that we'd be disappointed with. I think the options are good, like the way that it goes, unless there's like some crazy surprise. I mean, if you look at some of the betting odds now, it sounds like the Patriots are the favorite to get Membu, which I think is very interesting.
Over Campbell?
Over Campbell, yeah. At least I think that's what DraftKings had at the moment, but these are changing all the time. So
see, that's a tough question to grapple with if you're the Jets. One-on-one, pound for pound, is Campbell better than Membu? Perhaps as an NFL prototype, but he doesn't fit as well as Membu, I don't think, into this offense. So maybe I think Glenn is secretly hoping Campbell goes before Membu.
Yeah, that would be very interesting. And then there's still, what is Jacksonville going to do? To your point, what are the Raiders going to do? Is Genty? Makes sense. But
is Pete going to draft Genty? Man, I find it hard to believe still, to be honest.
Campbell, by the way, is still the favorite to go to New England.
Oh, he is now. Okay.
Yeah,
it changed up. Okay, cool.
Minus 175.
All right, getting more certain now. That's interesting. And then the other part, I thought was interesting was the fact that the Saints not leaked, but just sort of let it out there that Carr's not 100%. I think creates a lot of interesting speculation about what they're going to do with their pick, or whether they want to trade with somebody to get in front of someone like the Jets that wants to trade down. Probably. I mean, it's not like shocking that Jets probably are interested in trading down to recoup the pick. But I will say, like, I was definitely all about the D line for a bit, but I kind of changed my mind because I really think Tyreek is really interesting, but I think it would require some risk taking to hope that he's available in the early second round. And I don't know if we'd have to trade back into the first to guarantee we get him, but I still think we should solve the middle of the line. But do you think that the Jets,
who'd you say? I missed who you said.
And Tyreek Williams, I think is his name. If I'm not mistaken, the big run stuffer.
Yes. I don't know. I think he's definitely in the mix because again, they signed Nandi. Nandi's really the only big dude they have, like the real big. So Glenn absolutely wants a second guy, and he's going to come away with one. But will it be at that spot? Is the question. But I think I like the way you're thinking. It's definitely an option, but it all depends on tight end. I think tight end is the wild card. Do they get Warren at 7? And if not, they got to come away with one very shortly right after that.
If Mason Graham is available at 7, it's going to be a very interesting decision. I think in a way it's kind of better if he gets taken, because then it takes the options off the table and we just go with Chalk, go with Warren probably, or go with Membu. I mean, that's probably the easier solution. But then all of a sudden, if you get a very tantalizing D-line pick, I think it'll be very interesting to see what their plan is.
Yeah, but also if they go Membu at 7 and you have 2 tantalizing picks in the second.
Tantalizing, big word.
Tight end or D tackle, which one are you going?
I mean, I was telling Jake, we got three picks in the first 3 rounds, but we have 4 notable opportunities to fill roster spots on O-line, D-line, tight end, wide receiver.
So let's take a linebacker. Watch.
See, I still think it's Membu, and then tight ends. We'll see who drops. The Laporta Mayer draft they dropped, and it was kind of a shock to me. Yeah. Can it happen again in the early second round? And if it does, and they get Membu at 7, and then one of the top 3, top 4 tight ends in the second, that's pretty solid.
Yeah, it could be okay. So I don't really know where we want to go with it, but I would say, like, if it was, I think a lot of picks we'd be cool with. I think you're not going to please everybody, but I think it just depends on how the chips fall. And there's always some wacky surprise. Like, no one saw Penix coming last year. I don't think anyone did. That was a reach. Someone might reach again. I mean, I think when Jax had the first pick and they picked, was it Trayvon Walker? I think that was pretty surprising, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was a very big surprise, and that was a mistake. They should have just taken the obvious pick there, which to me was Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah.
It kind of changed in the last week or so. It was weird.
Is there any? I don't know anything about this bit, but has there been any indication on whether Aaron Glenn wants to do it, keep the 4-3, or does he prefer a 3-4?
No, he's 4-3. It's going to be a 4. Okay. It's going to be a 4-3 team, but there's so Saleh and Glenn on paper 4-3, but there's a major difference between the two. Oh. Saleh just teaches one way and one way only. Gap, downhill, fly around. Glenn is going to be more nuanced. Like, there are going to be times where you want to fly around and attack gaps, but there's going to be times when you want your D-line to take on the blocks the right way and eat blocks and stay square to the line of scrimmage and not get downhill. So it's all about how you teach it. And I think Glenn is going to be a lot more nuanced. And Glenn, he throws some 3-4 looks out there every now and then at the same time.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. What do you think is the number one thing that Breece needs to do to turn it around this year, if based on what you've seen?
It's a mental thing with him, and I don't know if it's mental with the injury, or it's mental with the feeling within the team, the morale. But whatever it is, he just has to take it one day at a time. Stop putting so much pressure on himself. And mainly Glenn needs to get in his ear. And this is what coaching is. And if Breece suddenly does a 180 and he's feeling good and he starts to look confident, okay, you have a coach, Jets fans. Like, that's the stuff that's gold in terms of coaching.
Do you think forcing him in the passing game is a mistake because he can't get the top speed faster? if versus getting more of a running start from the backfield? Like, is trying to incorporate him in the passing game, holding him back? In the end, they should just kind of go
It's the
back to his
opposite.
strength.
His strength is as a receiver. They don't throw him the ball. Like
Yeah.
Fifth and drops in the
Yeah,
league.
no, see, that's
I
it's a
get
mental
it.
thing.
That's worse than rushing for 2.
Okay, I understand that. But when the ball is in his hands, he has made some of the biggest plays the Jets have had on offense over the last couple of years. The week 2 touchdown catch was incredible. How about the play where they just checked it down to him against, I think it was the Colts game, where they just threw it to him and he just took off and blew through like 3 or 4 guys and scored? The check down against the Steelers where he almost took it to the house. Like, Breece Hall, he's got to obviously fix the drops. It was a problem last year. We understand that. He had a bad season for what we thought it was going to be. It was disappointing. He still is talented, and you still, even in his down year, still saw a lot of greatness with him at times. Like, I'm not giving up on that yet.
Yeah, I don't want to give up on Breece either. I think when he is at his top game, he's a revelation. I mean, he's like the only one. If he can get back to his top speed, and I know I'm obsessed with that, he may never get back to where he was.
I hear you. I wouldn't worry about the top speed, though, to be honest, because because running backs, top speed is very, very not important. But to your point, you're kind of envisioning Breece as not the traditional running back. You're envisioning him as like a Marshall Faulk type. So I get it from that regard, but traditional running back, top speed, it's not. It's more about vision, awareness, savvy, breaking tackles, picking up 5 when you were only supposed to get 3, stuff like that. And when you're overthinking it, you're not going to get it done. So it's incumbent upon Engstrand and Glenn to put him in the right spots to gain confidence early for Breece and Fields. Everyone really, but I think specifically Fields and Breece.
Yeah.
Put him in the right spots to gain confidence early, then expand it from there on out.
Do you see him as like a north-south runner? I know he has other skill sets,
be,
but north-south is his style, isn't it?
So that's a tough question. It's like compared to Braylon Allen, no, not even close. But it's more so. It's more so because Breece has a more extended skill set, and he looks like a north-south runner. Like, he's tall. He doesn't look small. He looks like that. Can he be? Yes, but also when you think about the big runs he's had, Denver sweep to the outside, cutting it up.
Mm-hmm.
So north-south in that sense, sure, using the vision, but not north-south in the sense like read option where you're gonna, bait the edge if you're Fields and hand it off to a big burling guy like Derrick Henry between the tackles. No, in that sense, but it doesn't matter. I mean, it's confidence with him. He will. If you can get him to feel good about himself and stop overthinking, you'll have a serious, serious weapon.
Well, I wish we could just all give him a big hug, but the good news is he's in a contract year. So if he's going to be motivated, this is the year to show up and show out.
Yeah, for sure.
Talks. Adam, good call, man. Appreciate you. Adam checking in there, starting us off from Adam. Let's see if we got any super chats. We do. Anthony. Hey, Jake and Robby, do you think the new coaching staff will give Malachi Corley a legitimate chance to show what he has? I'd imagine they would, right? I mean, nothing's going to be handed to him, though.
No, I think he'll have a chance. It's going to be a lot easier for him this year based on the scheme, that's for sure. You don't have to. I think the main reason why he didn't get in last year too much is due to the scheme. You have to read the leverage in real time with Rodgers. It's a higher ceiling type thing. And it's tough for some guys. It really is. And it takes time to gel. That's the other thing with Rodgers. We saw so many communication issues. It was because of that. This year, it's going to be a lot of one-read stuff. It's going to be a lot of, determined, you're running this route on this play. Can he block? If he blocks his ass off, he will get a shot. I know that for sure. If he blocks his ass off and takes that seriously, he's going to be loved by the coaching staff.
Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. If you gift the membership, you're in the raffle for a chance to win a Keyshawn signed helmet, a Altoon signed helmet, a Sauce Gardner signed jersey, our top prizes. And let me ask the chat, which other former Jet first-round picks would you be interested in potentially winning a signed Jet-related item from? Write it in the chat. I wrote it in the Discord yesterday. We got a couple of good suggestions. One of them was Keyshawn and Altoon. So I went with Keyshawn and Altoon for our first-round pick raffle theme. This one is from
Roger Vick. That's mine.
Roger Vick. All Sports Carlos says, what does Carolina have that they wouldn't take Shador? Also, Jets should be looking to take Warren, offensive line, or just trade back. That should be the plan. Carolina, I don't believe, is giving up on Bryce Young. That's why. I mean, they traded a lot to go up and get him. He played a lot better after he came back from the benching last year. I think they're going to give Bryce Young at least this year to be the guy and then reevaluate afterwards. So that's why. And then the second part of his question, yes, Warren, offensive line, or trade back. That, to me, are the three most likely options that I think the Jets should be considering. And I think it's probably more likely than not they can't find a great trade partner and they just make a pick at 7.
Yeah, agreed. You couldn't have said it more perfect. It would be tough to believe they go for quarterback. And I know, Bryce, it's really only been a handful of games to close out the year last year, but still, that handful looked pretty solid. And when Jets fans remember Darnold, closing out was it his first year, I think, his rookie year?
Yep.
Closing out his rookie year with dominant Chris Herndon out there, dominant Robbie Anderson with a Y.
4th round pick for Chris Herndon. One of the great trades Joe Douglas made, to be fair.
Yeah. And
Stone hands Herndon.
True. And everyone was excited. And I know it was rookie year. This wasn't his rookie year for Bryce, but still, I don't envision it.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. We have a lot of D. Milner requests. Calvin Pryor.
Calvin Pryor.
Vernon Golston.
Johnny Lamb Jones.
Jamal Adams. You know what? Funny enough, I actually have a signed Jamal Adams mini helmet that I could put in a raffle. Everyone want that?
Yeah. Jamal was beloved, man. We forget Jamal.
He was, because he ended up being a phony, but he said all the right things at the beginning, wanted to change the culture, was all about the Jets. Like, remember he sacked the Patriots mascot at the Pro Bowl? That was really funny. Like,
he was. I'll never forget it. It was his rookie year, I think, or he was hyping up the fans. We were practicing. One of the PR people at Jets saw me looking at him like, man, this guy does all the right things. And the PR person said, and it's real too. Like, it's genuine. Like you said, phony. It turned out to be that way by design, but it's a tough thing if you really dig deep. Like, is he? Yes, he specifically did the phony thing to get out, which was selfish, and I think he regrets it. But is he a phony by heart? I don't know. It's a tough thing that I think he's probably battling with as well.
I think he regrets it because he doesn't really have a home now. Like, there's not a single fan base that likes him. Like, he was a failure in Seattle. He's bounced around. Like, Seattle always looked at him as, wow, you were supposed to be the missing piece. We traded 2 first-round picks for you. You had a good first year. We didn't win. And then you were out the entire second season. He was never the same after that. And now he's just bouncing around team to team. He actually played for the Lions briefly this past year when they needed bodies because everyone was hurt on Glenn's defense.
Yeah, it's I mean, just for sure, no matter what, he was a gift to media and journalists. I wrote about him just when JetX started in 2020. I wrote about him more than anybody else. He was a gift. Like, I felt like Dr. Phil at times, trying to get into his head what he was thinking. And I just kept shaking my head like, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing?
Curly says it was Herndon and a 6 for a 4th, not a 4th straight out. Who cares, Curly? They got a 4th round pick.
Yeah. It was a good deal.
It was a great trade. You got a 4th round pick. Come on now.
Yeah, and the Jamal trade. I mean, that was
all-timer.
Ridiculous.
That's what gave fans so much belief in Douglas early on. He was great at the trade, but then when it came to actually picking the players, it was spotty. And then when it came time to, nailing the big decisions after you make the Jamal Adams trade, well, you then hired a head coach after that 2020 season where you were bottoming out. You should have had the first pick. You didn't. You're picking second. He got Salah wrong. He got Zach Wilson wrong. It did him in.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, I completely agree. You can't keep your job if you die on the hill of the coach. I think if Douglas would still be here if he sounded the alarm bells earlier on Salah. I firmly believe that. As I mentioned before, he stood on principle, and you can't stand on principle in this situation when you know the guy's not going to get it done. In terms of the rest of the roster, the rest of his picks, we'll see. We'll see what time does to it.
Some super chats here. They cut the line and help support the show. This one is from Man with a Rake, who says, we signed a center from Green Bay with 56 starts to sit on the bench. They might have plans for him. I mean, they'll say they'll let him compete for a job, and we'll see what they do in the draft. I mean, one of the ideas I had was AVT plays right tackle. Myers could be the guard for the year. Or if you think Tippmann's better at guard for a year and Myers is the center, I wouldn't mess with Tippmann, but I'm just saying you have options. Like, that could be in the plans. They also just needed better veteran depth because Wes Schweitzer was that guy last year and the year before. Guy couldn't stay on the field. And we saw how ugly it looked when, Carter Warren had to come in or Max Mitchell had to come in. So just in general, they needed more offensive line depth. So Myers to me was a good move. One of the few moves I looked at and went, I like that signing a lot this offseason.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, you can't have enough depth on the O-line, especially in Florham Park, where the water injures O-linemen. I don't know how else to describe it. I've seen so many injuries, especially on the O-line, that it defies logic.
Super chats here. We'll get right back to your calls before we wrap with Robbie. Bo checks in. Our guy Bo. Bo knows adding Curley to the backfield for screenplays and quick release short yardage dumps would free up Breece and Allen. Also open tight end plays midfield. There should be a coaching staff that can find some role for Malachi Corley. I mean, you watch what he did in college, and he's a guy that I'm convinced if McVay drafted him or O'Connell drafted him, he'd be able to do something. But, the Jets obviously had one of the worst offensive staffs in the league. So hopefully that changes now.
Yeah, sure. Corley is a, X factor type guy who could definitely get some stuff done. 100% agree. Again, run block your ass off, kid. And if you do that, you're going to get some serious looks.
J Mall, I just can't shake the feeling that Breece the Genty has the potential to be an Adrian Morrell to Curtis Martin type upgrade.
Maybe, but it's like, did Parcells, when Parcells first got here in 97, who did he have running the ball? Adrian Morrell. He didn't look towards that back until after he established something. He got Martin the year after. So this is sort of the same thing. I don't think when you have three legit options, when there's so many holes elsewhere, do you force that move now at the sacrificing of other holes? No, I don't think you do. I think that's further down the list.
It's not the same timeline. You're right.
Yeah,
it's different. Sam with a super chat. If we can't get Membu, would rather trade down. Would you trade the 7th for 18 and 2 second-round picks? Would I trade the 7th for pick 18? So pick 18 is Seattle at 18. I would do that trade. I'm getting 2 second-round picks, and I'm still getting a pick on the top 20. I'm in.
Yeah, where are the second-round picks is the question. But my first answer is yes, too.
Seattle's 2 second-round picks are pick 50, and they have the Steelers' second-round pick 52. I got that in the Metcalf trade.
I'd do that, yeah.
Speaking of Metcalf, I'd sign his running mate right after the draft. Give me Tyler Lockett.
Yeah. Is he still out there?
Yeah. So is Keenan Allen, and so is Amari Cooper. To me, they need another veteran pass catcher.
Agreed. And I don't think it would be a shock to see them sign one after the draft if they don't grab one. For all the Ted McMillan fans out there, that ain't happening. I'd be stunned. But receiver, they get screwed. The veteran receivers get screwed these days. Tight ends too, because it's so deep. Receiver and tight end is so deep every year because football is a passing game. It's nuts. And they get screwed. O-linemen, there are never enough O-linemen. Receivers and tight ends, there's always so many. So that's just the world we live in.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. More of your calls. Kyle Clifton is up next. Hello, Kyle. Kyle, you're on mute.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Kyle?
So
What is up?
just following up on what Too Cool was saying, like Cleveland at number 2, to me, I don't know why they wouldn't take Abdul Carter if he's the best player in the draft by most accounts, right? To put him opposite Myles Garrett. Like, you got to go get the quarterbacks in that division, Burrow and Lamar Jackson, right? Like, I don't know what, the cornerback is going to do for you in the immediate term to help you win that division.
I think they play him at wide receiver. I think he'd play wide receiver predominantly for them.
Yeah, I mean, still.
For what it's worth. I agree with you. If I was them, I would take Carter, put him next to Myles Garrett, and you can almost win games without even having great quarterback play if your defense is that dominant.
Right. I mean, even then, though, like to have a part-time wide receiver, I don't know. Was he? I didn't watch too much Colorado. Was he playing wide receiver full-time and cornerback full-time?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's crazy. Okay. I just want to get that out there. To me, Abdul Carter is the pick. And then 4, 5, and 6, like to me, yeah, Campbell makes sense for the Patriots. I think Mason Graham makes sense at 5, but I don't know what the Raiders are going to do. People keep on saying Genty, but in this running back class, why would you take someone a running back at 6, right? Like they have a lot of other holes. I think you'd wait if you were them, right? They could use a receiver for sure. We know traditionally they like speed, so I've seen mocks where Golden went there.
Yeah, the Raiders are the one. When the guy asked me who's the biggest wild card, it's the Raiders to me because Pete Carroll, yes, he's there, but Pete Carroll could be unpredictable too. If I'm trying to remember his past in terms of the draft, nothing stands out, but I think he's been unpredictable at times in the past, and they're right before the Jets, so yeah, it's a major thing.
Yeah, I don't know about tendencies myself. I like trenches, but I think they're starting to get there in the trenches. But like the skill players besides Brock Bowers are a little bit from hunger.
Yeah.
The other thing was like Breece. I think you were saying, Robbie, that you think that a return to zone might help him. Is that fair to say?
Zone
like
rushing?
His own scheme?
Yeah.
His own scheme?
Yes, for Breece, yes. But it's also more important is the O-line and the blocking coaching. Like there was just they ran zone last year. They definitely ran zone. They ran a lot of gap scheme too. They did both. The problem is they never had a plan. They never had anything of consequence that, in other words, they were playing the whole year trying to figure it out. And I think it came down to coaching. And it was the most glaring coaching failure of the team in the last 2 years.
All right. I appreciate the time, guys.
Kyle Clifton, everyone. Good call.
Thanks.
There. Love it. I got some sad news for you, Robbie. Bobby Midnight, who you love, is not on the line. He's been boycotting my show.
What's going on here?
I don't know. He's been boycotting the last 3 or 4 shows.
Well, you got to have some info.
Well, he became monetized on YouTube. Nick Shine paid for some phony subscribers to get him over the threshold. And I just think he doesn't need my channel anymore. He doesn't need the promotion. He
big time in you.
Now he can just do his own thing.
He's big time in you, for real.
I mean, that's my theory. I mean, he sits around all day. Where else is he?
Oof.
Maybe he has a hair appointment or something.
Oof. Bobby, keep that hair rolling.
Dave Brigga, new name, Bobby Boycott. Yeah. Where is Bobby Midnight? People are asking. I don't know.
Yeah, that's damn, my heart hurts. Bobby, I know you're listening. Bobby's got to be listening. Like, there's no way he's not listening. Bobby, my heart hurts. Come on now.
JYB, are you kidding me? A $100 super chat.
Get your ass off my super chats. Some of these are gifted memberships too.
Hey.
The hell with it.
JYB in the Asmaniac raffle with this bad boy for 20 channel entries. Got some really great news today, sharing the wealth and hoping for that Sauce autograph. You have a chance. You have the most raffle entries out of anyone so far. JYB, good luck to you and appreciate your support. And that's awesome, man. You got great news. Hopefully the Jets get some great news too and we all win.
Yeah, I'm still thinking about Bobby. I got to be honest.
Yeah. His co-host is watching. I'm still here for you, Jake. What's up, Robbie?
Hey.
Anthony has gifted 5. He won the Wayne Corbett autograph, and he's back in the raffle for more. Here we go. Delta, Niner Discuss, Carl Clark, Red Bean, and Tandem all receiving channel memberships. If you want a membership, you have to make sure you're a subscriber to my channel, like the video you're watching, and then the algorithm assigns it based on who interacts in the chat the most, who comments, shares, basically just who supports the show. So that's your best way of getting a channel membership. If you have a question for Robbie, write it in. Couple calls left, and then we say goodbye. Let's head to Israel, Jerusalem we go. Jason in Jerusalem is next. Hello, Jason.
Hi, guys. How you guys doing?
What's up, Jason?
I wanted to know, what do you think is this year's Kyle Brady? And what I mean by that is, which position, if the Jets draft it, are you just going to be upset the fact that they addressed that position in the draft?
I'd say running back. But like, I don't think
Quarterback
Genty's gonna
for me at 7. Like I don't want that.
Quarterback suffices too. But I don't think Genty's gonna turn out to be Brady. But yeah, I would say running back because it's just as we discussed before, the timeline's not there. It's just not the time for running back. You gotta, and I'd be shocked. Glenn is smart. He's a traditionalist. He will build from the trenches out.
Where do you think is okay? I'm referring to the first round in general. So even if you trade back and then get a Tet at like 18 or 20, I mean, what position do you not want to see at all in the first round? I'm not talking about overdrafting.
At all?
Don't say kicker and Janikowski.
Yeah.
There's only the Raiders are dumb enough for that.
I mean, center, a guard probably. Like I wouldn't take a guard in the first round.
Yeah.
I mean, defensively, I would avoid a corner. Like I wouldn't take another corner after they are about to pay Sauce. They already paid Carter. They gave money to Stevens. I don't think that makes sense team building wise.
Let's put it this way: anything non-trench wise, anything non-trenches would be, I wouldn't be too happy about. So tight ends, O tackle, D tackle. Anything other than that, I think we're talking edge too. You could throw edge in there, but anything other than that, that's yeah.
So you don't want to see a wideout, even if they trade back into the teens or 20.
No, wideout to me is a need.
You view Lazard as wide receiver too?
I don't.
Well, there's a lot of veterans out there, number one. And number two, it's a different offense. We're not talking run and shoot Atlanta Falcons, Chris Miller, or Warren Moon and the Oilers. They're going to be running the hell out of the ball. And tight end, if they go Warren's the receiver too. Breece might even be the receiver 3. So do I love the receiver 2 right now? No, but their vision, receiver 2 is down the hierarchy as opposed to, if a Rodgers was quarterback, it would be further up in terms of priority.
So what you're saying in this offense, Roger Vick has more value than wide receiver 2?
Roger Vick, a fullback?
I mean, if you're going real old school now, then you're going to say the fullback has more value in this offense.
No, because it's a different world. Like if we were back to the way NFL was played in 1988, sure, but not today. Completely different game.
So what scheme are they doing? If you just still a 1-back, or you view them as a 2-back?
It doesn't matter. Formation doesn't matter. It's the concepts. It's zone read. It's read option. It's RPO. It's one read concepts where you're going to focus more in the middle of the field. You're going to focus more on your receiver 1 and scheme him open, as opposed to just dropping back and letting the quarterback scan the field and pick the right coverage. So based on that, inherently, receiver 2 becomes less important. I'm not saying, dude, I would love to have a excellent receiver 2, but there's other needs, and that's how you got to stack it up. Which is more important, right tackle in a run-heavy offense or receiver 2? Let me ask you that. Which one's more important in this Jets offense? Receiver 2 or right tackle?
Right tackle, but I do think AVT, like Jake said before, and I've called before, that seeing AVT move to right tackle.
What's better? What's more important, right guard or receiver 2 in this offense?
I actually think receiver 2, because I think they're one Garrett Wilson injury away from being completely screwed.
And I think to have a great O-line, you have to have all 5 offensive linemen in unison working together. So I'm going right guard. Plus, you could sign a veteran free agent. So you're okay with drafting a first-round receiver, is what you're telling me?
Not at 7, but in a trade back, I would be.
Yeah, I don't. It's so deep. It's such a
look
deep.
At the Rex teams. Who is more valuable, Brandon Moore and Santonio Holmes?
Brandon Moore.
No, come on. Santonio Holmes won how many games for them?
Dude, but Brandon Moore, just because he didn't catch touchdowns doesn't mean he was
awesome. But if you're the Jets and you already have 4 of your 5 guys in place, if you're a good coaching staff, you should be able to coach around maybe a quote unquote weaker link on your O-line if the rest of the O-line is playing well. Like the Jets went into New England and beat the Patriots in the playoffs with Wayne Hunter at right tackle because Damian Woody got hurt. He ruptured his Achilles in the playoff win over the Colts the week before.
All right. I don't know how to tell you. I mean, it's the O-line has been pathetic for a long time.
It has, but they actually have some players there.
We're worried about with Justin Fields. a running quarterback, and
I get
We
it.
don't have Pete Carter as the
hyping-
coach.
Yeah, but wait a
We had the
second. Hold
worst
on.
O-line coach.
Yeah, but
Say it
think
again?
about this, Robbie, right? Think about this from this standpoint with Fields. Fields can run. So if the right tackle is not as great or it's like an average level player there, this is a guy that could create plays. He keep plays alive. Like Joe Burrow got to a Super Bowl with the worst line ever. Like it can be done if you're really coached up around, maybe one area of weakness. Like I'm not saying you need to have a sieve out there, but I think wide receiver 2 is really important.
We can't rely on AVT. You can't look at him and say he's going to be there.
I could find a starting level tackle on day 2 of this draft.
Listen, okay. I mean, I don't know what to tell you guys. I'm just giving you my opinion. So you're okay with the trade back, but not at 7.
Yeah,
Why not McMillan then?
I don't want him at 7.
Why not McMillan?
Because I think there's better value with the tackle or even Warren there than McMillan. But if I could get extra picks and then take him a little later, I'm cool. Because I think McMillan is more of a 2. I don't want to take a number 2 receiver in the top 7. Later on in the draft, I think there's value there.
I wouldn't be totally opposed to that, but the importance of the position, I just don't. I don't jive with. It's way. Let me put it. It's way down the priority in terms of what they're trying to establish, especially in year 1, from building from the trenches out. That's just where they are. I don't know. Of course. I'm not against it, but
so you would take Warren at 7 though?
Would I take Warren? I would take Warren at 7, yeah. Or Membu. I wouldn't take Tet McMillan.
I wouldn't either. So we agree.
Yeah, I mean, would it be totally off the table to trade back in the first and take a receiver? No, but dude, I'm building from the trenches out. It's something that AVT, I can't trust him. And if he goes down, Tipman hasn't. They're not. Fashanu even got hurt. Yeah, I'm going O-line all the way. It's just O-line or tight end because tight end contributes to the trenches. Fields.
Are you saying that more so because of all the wide receivers that are still available, like Claypool?
Oh well, that plays into it. The fact that receivers deep in every draft plays into it. And Fields, what type of quarterback he is, plays into it. That's also very important.
I don't know if they're going to sign one of these veteran receivers because they want to avoid anyone over 30 unless you're Josh Reynolds. So that's also part of my thinking too.
Look at Glenn. What does he keep bringing up with all these receivers blocking?
Yes,
Reynolds. Another Lazard. That's why they wanted him back. Yeah. So I'm just that's what I'm seeing. They're gonna go trenches out, and I get it. Fields it's a different type offense. Like, okay, Baltimore, Lamar. How many 1,000-yard receivers has he had? 1, I think. Hollywood Brown. 1.
Zay Flowers.
Zay just made it. Was he the second? So they've had 2. And all those years with Lamar, that's the offense they're gonna run. Like that.
But they also have Mark Andrews too.
Yeah, tight end, middle of the field. That's the type scheme, though. That's my point. It's going to be so far different than what we're all accustomed to. It is. It's a different world. It really is 100% different.
Jason, any other thoughts?
Thoughts on linebacker? Because you said about wide receiver and cornerbacks. You view linebacker as more of a need on this team if they win first round. Obviously, trading down.
First round linebacker?
Yeah.
No.
Like I said, what's the position you absolutely don't want to see taken? And I'm not talking about value at 7.
Running back. I've said it 18 times.
Right. But if they went linebacker, you say you would take linebacker or wide receiver if you were forced to. Which one's more of a need for this team?
Based on your view of the receiver.
Receiver.
Yeah. I want a heavy linebacker to fill and spill because I don't think they have that. But they re-signed Sherwood. They have Sherwood. They have Quincy. And you can get linebacker. You can get linebacker at a value as well, just like receiver. But if there's a difference maker receiver, I would take receiver over linebacker. Yes, absolutely.
All right, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
And by the way, the Brandon Moore Holmes thing, dude, Holmes ain't getting anything to eat if Brandon Moore is not around.
Yeah, but hold on. I'm going to debate you on this. And I love Brandon Moore. All right. It's criminal that people just associate him with the butt fumble. He's a guard, though. All right. He's a right guard at that, too. Yeah. Like, We're talking about Santonio Holmes, who went out there and won the Jets how many games with clutch catches at the end of regulation or overtime that year. He was more valuable. Sanchez, but Brandon Moore was really good. But he also, on that offensive line, you also had a Hall of Fame level center, a Hall of Fame level left tackle. The right tackle was DeBrickashaw was as good as any in the league. I mean,
he never made it all pro.
Hold on a second. You're going to try and tell me DeBrickashaw Ferguson, a multi-time Pro Bowler, wasn't really good? He missed one snap in his entire career.
No, he's really good. That's
my point. He was, if Olu Fashanu turns out to be DeBrickashaw Ferguson, we'd be giddy with that, for example. So you had him.
Yeah, he's really good. Not a whole
You had Mangold. You had Damian Woody on that. Like, you had really Faneca was the guard in 2009. Like, you had really, really good players. You needed a playmaker. Santonio Holmes was phenomenal. He was more important to the Jets than Brandon Moore was.
It's listen, I get what you're saying. I don't think it's crazy at all to say that. Like, it's really close. But the reason why I say that, number one, they got to the AFC title game in the same spot without Holmes.
Yeah, correct. But their path was much more difficult to do it in 2010. And they were a better team in the regular season in 2010.
But they got there without Holmes. It's like 50% of their success was without
Holmes.
Are
you trying to tell me that the 2010 Jets were not a better team?
No, they were way better.
They needed breaks in 09. They needed Curtis Payton to come into the game for Peyton Manning just to survive and then win the line. And then the Bengals were playing for nothing in that last week, and they laid down. The Jets kicked their ass and did it again to them in the playoffs. It was different. Like, the Jets were basically winning a lot of games in spite of their quarterback because Sanchez was a rookie in 09. And then 2010, their offense was way better, and Holmes was a big part of that. He got suspended the first 4 games, and when he came back, their offense really went to another level.
They were way better in 2010 than 2009. But the reason why I lean towards Moore is because he was part of the best unit in football. And that was so critical to who they were as an offense. And if they didn't have that ground and pound, that rushing attack, it wouldn't really matter much. Holmes wouldn't have a chance to do what he did. Now, the catch in New England, I mean, God, ridiculous. Overtime against, who was it, Detroit? The overtime game?
And Cleveland, too. How about the quick slant?
It might have been Cleveland was the one I was thinking of. I get it completely. And I'll say this. Bill Callahan, I think, was more important than both of them.
He was a phenomenal line coach, for sure.
Yeah, dude, Bill Callahan. So Brandon Moore, listen, I love him. Holmes, love him. Had his jersey. One of the 5 Jets jerseys I've had all time, I think. Holmes, Leonard, Crabette, Pennington. There was one more. Damn it. I'll think of it. But there was only 5 I've ever had. Holmes was one of them. Love Holmes. I got to go with their bread and butter, though, like who they were as a team. In terms of identity.
If the question is who was more important for the success of the Jets, the O-line or Santonio Holmes individually, or just receivers as a whole, it's O-line for sure. But who's more important individually, right guard or number 1 receiver on a team that won 11 games? It was Santonio Holmes.
Moore was one of the 3 constants. You know, him, Brick, and Mangold. Yeah, it's a fascinating topic. I'll give you that for sure.
This was a fascinating conversation, Mr. Sabo. Appreciate you hopping on as always.
You got it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Robby Sabo, JetsXFactor.com, promo code Asman, and you'll get 99 cents for your first month of their membership program. Manny says, I need that Keyshawn helmet. Well, I'll tell you what, Manny, you got to gift a raffle, or gift an entry, I should say, a membership to be in the raffle. Now, I know you're coming to the draft party, Manny, so you're automatically in the draft night raffle. We got a bunch of great prizes for that. But if you want the Keyshawn helmet for this week's Asmaniac weekly raffle, gift a 1-channel membership and you're entered in the contest. Ray writes in, forget Bobby Midnight. You don't need friends like that, Jake. Thank you, Ray. Zachary says, don't forget Warren's dad wanted them to have a play style like John Riggins. Yeah, I love that. Warren to me makes sense, and I totally get Robbie's point about the offense, but I think that wide receiver is still very important for the Jets. You have just Garrett Wilson right now. You can't set yourself up to have no one to throw the football to. Wide receiver, to me, has become a premium position in the NFL. Jamar Chase is making $40 million a year now. So while we could say, oh, it's a deep wide receiver class, wait. Have you seen the Jets' history at trying to find wide receivers on day 2 and beyond in the draft? They haven't hit on a second-round wide receiver since Wesley Walker. They haven't drafted a meaningful wide receiver that actually can contribute and play for their team and not be just a total liability since who? Jeremy Curley, probably in the 5th round in 2011. He was a nice player for a little bit for the Jets at a TCU. You know, decent slot guy. Come on now. You know, Quincy Enunwa had his run for a little bit. Unfortunately, the neck injury ended his career. 6th-round pick, but like it's few and far between. You know, we've come a long way since Lavernius Coles or Jericho Cotry or even like Brad Smith. We've had guys that they've tried, like Stonehand Stephen Hill, like Jason Morrow at the tight end spot in the 2nd round, and I thought he was going to be really good. I mean, the list is endless. Darius Stewart, Chad Hansen, Sharon Peak. I mean, ironically, Robbie Anderson was really good, but he doesn't technically count. He was a UDFA. Other guys the Jets have tried to take. Elijah Moore, Denzel Mims. You hope he's not going to be added to this list, but until proven otherwise, he's on it. Malachi Corley. Right? Like, that's the problem. That's why I think if there's a receiver you like, yeah, if you could get Matthew Golden or Tet, I'm taking him in the trade back. I want an offensive player. Trenches, I get it. It's important. We also don't need to act like the Jets haven't already addressed the trenches copious amounts of times. I gave you this stat yesterday about the offensive line. The New York Jets are one of only 4 teams that has used 3 first-round picks on an offensive lineman since 2020. And they used a very high pick on a center in the 2nd round. They've addressed the O-line. It's not done. But they got to do what other teams around the league can do and find a guy in the 2nd round that could be a plug and play for you. Tate Ratledge could start at guard if you drafted him, and I'd move AVT to right tackle. They're not going to do that seemingly unless it's all smoke. But, like, that's what we're talking about here. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Zachary already read that one. Bo checks in. The most important aspect of football, scoring touchdowns and winning games. Santonio produced beyond a shadow of doubt, not up for debate. Yeah, look, Brandon Moore was a really good Jet. I'm not trying to disparage him, but you can't compare a right guard to Santonio Holmes in 2010. There was a thing called tone time as Jet fans, because in the 4th quarter, he made the plays that won games. He did. Remember the game in Cleveland or Detroit that year, or the Texans game when they won at the buzzer, basically? Or the catch he made in the playoffs against New England? It was a real thing. Comments, questions, super chats. Cut the line. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now on the Gusbuster hotline is none other than Neil.
Jake, my brother. Jake, my brother.
Hello, Neil.
It's April 15th. One of my least favorite days of the year.
Little tax day action for you?
Look at this. My daughter, this is just my life, right? Look at this little thing. My daughter, she decides she wants to park at a no-fire zone in Hampton Bays, And then, because she said there was a homeless guy outside the car, so she left the car running and went into Dunkin' Donuts. And now I'm looking at a $750 fine.
Oh, my God.
That's just one of my, many, many things that I have to deal with on a daily basis, for my kids. She's 39 years old. You think she could take care of her own tickets at this point, but, this is some of the stuff that I have to deal with. But anyhow, as far as the draft goes, you heard me this morning. I was on a little bit of a rant. You heard me this morning. I'm going to reiterate. Forget it. We all know, and Ricky came on and blasted me because, all our guys here, we have so many guys in the chat that claim to be draft geniuses. And in reality, we got Joe Douglas, who was probably one of the top draft guys out there. And we have nobody left from our 2020 draft. And these guys are all crap shooters. You know, we're all crap shooters here, guys. There's no guarantee that anybody we take in this draft is going to be an impact player on the New York Jets. So we have a lot of holes to fill, but there's really one hole that we haven't been able to fill in long time, and that's quarterback. So I'm going to say it right now, and I know it's not going to be a popular thing, but the more I think about it, the more I think we should take a shot with Shedeur Sanders if he's there number 7. And the reason I say that is, and I'll say it again, 75% completion percentage, doesn't turn the ball over, played with a shitty offensive line. He knows how to read defenses. Yes, he doesn't have a cannon that could throw like that guy Zach Wilson we took that had a big arm. Oh, boy, he could throw the ball 80 yards. Big shit. I want to go. Now, here's where we are, Jake. You smell a 4-win season. I smell better than that this year, frankly. And we may have a pleasant surprise in Justin Fields. But I'm tired of hope. I hope Justin Fields does well. I hope he's great. But the reality is,
there's hope with Shedeur too, though. That's all hope.
I get it. But guess what? Let's take a guy that has a shot at being a franchise quarterback. Nobody's saying he can't be. Mel Kiper has him in the top 25. The guy has had a tremendous college career, has he not?
Yeah, I think he was a good college quarterback. I do.
Good? The guy's got him. They retired his number at Colorado State.
I mean, his dad, a couple things. One, his dad's the head coach. Two, he was throwing to a guy who's going to be the second pick in the draft in all likelihood and won the Heisman. The other receivers there are probably NFL players too, they're saying, and are going to be drafted either this year. I think the one that's coming back will be next year. Like, he didn't have a great O-line, so I'll give you that. He's tough. I think the appeal of Shedeur is, for everyone, including me, it's like, do you really want to deal with all that? Can he handle New York? I mean, he's grown up in the spotlight, so it wouldn't be, abnormal for him. I don't think it is the best practice for the Jets to take him now. I think you could go out there and you could give Fields a shot and then reevaluate next year. I think they believe Fields can actually be their long-term guy. That's what, how do we know Shedeur is going to be good, Neil? He's not supposed to be a great quarterback. His ceiling is probably good. I don't know if I want to invest in the top 7 for someone that's just good.
Well, again,
are we ever winning a Super Bowl if our quarterback is only just good? We need someone who's.
Well, let me say this to you:
great.
we didn't know the guy on the Commanders took him to the championship game, and nobody knows he was going to be good either.
But he was supposed to be a top 2 pick. There was never any debate on that.
This guy was. Sanders is a top 2, the second best quarterback in this draft. And the only reason he's falling is because of the back page shit.
No, because he doesn't have any special traits. That's why. Listen to Connor Rogers talk about this or anyone else. He's got a good, not great arm. He's not fast. He's a pocket quarterback. He's not, he has a to me, he probably has a decent floor, but I don't know if his ceiling is high enough to ever win big with. And the Jets are in the AFC. You got to deal with Josh Allen in your division. You got to deal with Joe Burrow in your conference, CJ Stroud in your conference. You got to deal with the MVP of the league in Lamar Jackson, maybe the second best quarterback of all time when it's all said and done, and Patrick Mahomes in your conference. I don't know if it makes sense for the Jets to invest in Shedeur right now if there's some doubts. If they take him, they're saying they believe he's a franchise quarterback. I don't think they feel that way.
Well, let's say this. Here's the other scenario. The other scenario is we have Justin Fields, who more likely than not is going to be an average quarterback. He's not taking us to a Super Bowl. We know that already.
Yeah, but if you take Shedeur and he's not the guy, we're now wasting a couple years where he's not the guy, and then you're starting over again anyway.
But here's my argument. My argument is that's every year. There's only one great quarterback that might come out next year, and he certainly will not be a Jet. And
we don't know that. We don't know that. Hold on.
He's not going to be a Jet, Jake.
No. I'm not talking about Arch.
His father will never let him come to the Jets.
I'm not talking about Arch. You say there's only one great quarterback next year. We don't know that. No one had Joe Burrow going number 1 or Baker Mayfield going number 1 the years they did. No one even heard of Zach Wilson at this time when he was going into his last year in college. Guys emerge. We see this constantly. There's always players that seemingly come out of nowhere and skyrocket up the boards. Well, and we already know next year there's probably at least 3 or 4 guys that are projected to go in the first round.
All right. I think we got to take a shot this year at a quarterback. All right.
I agree, but it doesn't necessarily need to be on day 1 or day 2. You could take someone in the 4th round or the 5th round.
But Jesus, would it suck if this kid Shador, 75% completion. He doesn't turn the ball over. He played in a crappy offensive line. And I see a lot of quarterbacks. Okay, Jake, they're all in college. They all go like this. They sit back there. Okay. Oh, where is guy open? There's a big wall in front of them. They got great wide receivers like Ohio State and all these teams. They have great wide receivers. They have great offensive lines, and they could just sit back there and play 11 on 11. I like the fact that this guy had a shitty offensive line, had to play and get hit all the time and still produced. So again, you got to take a shot here, because if we don't take a shot on a quarterback now, we're not going to pick 7. If we're good like next year, we're going to be picking 15.
Good.
And we're not going to get a good quarterback.
Good. Let's trade up then. Let's do what the Chiefs did, or what the Bills did, or what the Ravens did. That's how they got their quarterbacks. I hope the Jets win a lot of games next year. Maybe Fields can lead them to 9-8, sneak into the playoffs, and then for them to take the next step, they draft a quarterback that then is not in a spot where that guy has to play right away. He could sit behind Fields until that guy's ready, and then you go from there. Fields is on a 2-year deal. At the bare minimum, he's proven that with competent coaching, you can win games with him. He was 4-2 in Pittsburgh this past year.
But look what happened with look at this. Look what happened with Penix last year, okay? I got to believe this guy Shador Sanders is better than Penix, because I saw a little bit of Penix in college. He stunk.
Yeah, but the people who saw a lot more than Penix, the people who watched everything, had Michael Penix as a top 15 pick, and he went 8 and then looked good last year. Shador Sanders, basically, now everyone is saying there's some NFL teams. Tom McShay talked about this. He spoke with teams that don't have first-round grades on the guy. Zach Wilson is a better prospect coming out of college than Shador Sanders was.
I get it. But again, I want to take a shot on a quarterback this year, okay? And then, like you said earlier to Robby, we can get an offensive lineman in the 2nd or 3rd round. We can get a tight end in the 2nd or 3rd round. Let's take our shot with Shador, and because Jake, when we're 2-4 and Fields is throwing picks and we're pissed off and we don't even want to go to a game anymore, I mean, it wouldn't be so bad in game 7 or 8 to have Shador Sanders come in and provide a spark. Maybe he ends up being as good as Penix, if not better than Penix. And now we at least have somebody we could grasp onto for 2026.
So let's do that on day 2 then, or day 3. I don't think, Neil, if you invest in a top 7 pick, that's now their guy. That starts the clock on their tenure. If they don't believe he could be a franchise quarterback, they're not taking him. They're going to evaluate him. If they think, like you, that he's the guy, they'll take him if he's there. I don't think that they're going to think that he's worth a top 7 pick in the draft.
All right. In the meantime,
they'll do what you want them to do if they agree with you. Like that, and if that's what I'm saying to you.
Have they done homework on this guy? Have
yes.
They watched Shador Sanders into the thing?
They met with him at the combine. They've done work on all the quarterbacks. They've said as much publicly.
So what I'm going to tell you is this then. I'm going to say if they pick him at 7, that means they like him. And they think
of course,
they
love him, not like him. If you're taking a quarterback at number 7 in the NFL draft, you don't like him, you love him, and think that this guy could win a Super Bowl one day.
All right. So my point is this. If we take him, let's not be pissy and say it was crappy and be all upset on because I'll tell you right now, 90% of the people in this chat, if we take Shador at number 7, are going to go, oh no, what a dumb move. Right or wrong?
Of course, but Bills fans didn't like the Josh Allen pick. Now they love him.
Thank you.
So we'll see.
Thank you. That's my point. We got to do a Costanza. We got to do the opposite. God damn it! Enough listening to all these prognosticators. This guy's a given. This guy's going to be great. Forget it. Let's take a goddamn shot is all I'm saying. If Glenn is going to take a shot and this is Shador Sanders, Let's do it. I mean, we're not going to trade up. We'd have to give the ranch away to go to number 1, right?
Not trading up.
I get it, but this guy Ward, he probably might not be worth it either, Jake. Right or wrong? Is he that stellar that he's
I think he's better than Shador. I think he's got
but
more
is he
special
a
traits.
miss? Is he a franchise quarterback?
Neil, no quarterback is a no miss.
Right.
None of them are. But there's varying levels of risk, and I don't think Sanders is worth the risk at 7.
Okay,
they might feel differently. If they take him, they agree with you. All right, they agree with you.
And I'm just saying, don't be surprised.
I will buy you a Shador Sanders jersey if they draft him. All right.
Listen, I don't want. Look, I'm not telling you that I'm going to be Shador crazy and all this other crap. All I'm saying is, I want, if we end up sucking, which is more likely than not. I hate to say it. I'm a Mr. Optimist. I don't. That's the last thing that wants to come out of my mouth. Okay, but if Justin Fields ends up being the Justin Fields in the last 5 years and not the Justin Fields that we hope will happen, that's advancing in Pittsburgh. Okay, if it's not, and we end up not being good the first half of this year, do you really want to see what's his name come in? Win a couple of games. Tyrod. Do you really want to see Tyrod win a couple games? And what's that going to do for us? And then we're on the clock at 26, trying to get another quarterback, which is another 2 years away from being a franchise quarterback.
You can't force the quarterback, though. If you don't, you can't just take a quarterback to take a quarterback. Like that doesn't make any sense either, though, Neil. So you have to only take a quarterback if you think the guy's going to be good. And I think they're genuine when they talk about Justin Fields. I think they truly think he's a franchise quarterback and they could get it out of him. I think they feel that way. I don't think it's just coach speak. I think Glenn's sincere when he references how he hasn't been able to play the position, hasn't been allowed to, has been basically saying he hasn't been coached properly. Like they see something in him that they could tap into. Look how the Lions got Jared Goff to figure it out. They saw something in him after McVay had no use for him and got rid of him. And look what they've turned Goff into. Look what Baker has done. Sam Darnold has done. Like that's what they see with Fields, and we'll find out if they're right.
I agree, but I think it's always better to take a shot with a quarterback in the first round, hoping that he may be the franchise. And it wouldn't. If Justin Fields ends up being great, and we're happy with him, and we go into 2026 with him, it wouldn't be bad to have Shador Sanders back there developing and have him as a backup. Because we're going to lose. We're going to lose what's his name anyway next year.
For sure. But if Fields is not great, chances are this team is going to be right around where a lot of us think they're going to be. 4 or 5 wins. They're going to be picking anywhere from like 4 to 8, and they'll be in range to get a quarterback anyway. So why am I taking Shador if it's a better class next year? And at that point, I already know what I have in Fields. I have him under contract as the bridge for the quarterback I'm going to take next year. They get their guy. Their timeline starts.
But they don't know who the franchise is next year.
But they think it's Fields, so you're going to play it out for a year.
No, I'm talking about next year. If we end up not being Fields, right? Then we're going to pick a quarterback at 26. And again, we still don't know if he'll be better than Shador. At least we have Shador in there. And if we do suck, guess what? Shador comes in, plays like Penix, and bye-bye, Glenn. You wanted to win now. That's what you told us you were going to do. So guess what? Bring Dion in and let him be our coach. Yeah, let's start thinking out of the box. God damn it. Goodbye.
These goddamn exploding cigars. I gotta go, Jake. I'll call back later. Shit.
You can love Neil. You can dislike Neil. But you have to love his passion for the Jets. Period. All right. I don't want you watching this show if you can't respect that. Because that man's got passion for his team. Unreal. Bo with a super chat. Neil, love you, man. But in one breath, you're saying nobody knows who these players are. But then you give Sanders accolades. Fields is game tested. It's too big of a risk, man. I just don't think it's worth the risk for a first-year regime to do it. If they do it, they agree with Neil that Sanders is their guy. I don't think they want to stake their claim to Shador Sanders yet. They're in year 1. They don't care about the playoff drought. We do. They don't. Ray Danger, we have too many holes on the roster to take a chance on Sanders in the first round. We'll get our quarterback next year. The hope is you have your quarterback now. Is it likely? Probably not. But give him a year. You could draft someone on day 3 in the pipeline. And if Neil's talking about, them being bad, go play Kyle McCord the last 4 games of the year and see what you have. Sam with a super chat. Shador has 4 good receivers. I watched all his games. He's not a 7th pick. I think he'll be better than Eli. Well, I mean, if he's going to be Eli Manning, you take him at 7. I mean, Eli Manning was absolutely worth whatever the Giants gave up to make that deal with the Chargers. He won 2 Super Bowls. Never missed a start. So this super chat to me, Sam, contradicts itself. If you think he's going to be better than Eli Manning, you take him at 7, no doubt. Like if you tell me the Jets would get the version of Eli Manning, you take him in a second. The guy won 2 rings, was one of the most clutch quarterbacks of all time. I believe he'll be in the Hall of Fame one day. I think he should have been first ballot. He's not. Whatever, he's going to get in at some point. Thomas says, this is absurd. You can't take a quarterback just to take one. You only take one if you believe in the guy. I don't know how the Jets feel about Shador. My feeling is they don't think he's worth a top 7 pick. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Your chance to win a signed Keyshawn helmet this week. A signed Al Toon helmet. Where are all the people saying, if you get an Al Toon item, I'm going to be entered in the raffle? We have an Al Toon signed helmet and a Sauce Gardner signed jersey. Our theme is Jets first-round picks. That's what it's all about. All right, let's see. Cody says, Neil loves Shador just like Gary loves Bowers or Bonesy loves JD. Oh, man. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Now, let me say this. Speaking of Brock Bowers.
Did somebody say Brock Bowers?
The only difference between me and Neil and Bonesy, 3 of the 4 Final Fours, mind you, is that I was right about Bowers and they were wrong about JD and Sanders.
Well, we don't know if Neil's wrong yet. We don't know what Sanders is.
I mean, okay. I told you months ago that Shador Sanders doesn't suck. If you draft him, you're gonna in the first round, you're gonna wake up 3 years from now and be like, wow, I have the 22nd best quarterback in football. What did that do for my franchise? Nothing.
Is that a Fields jersey, by the way?
Yeah, I just got the Fields jersey.
Wow.
The first look came in yesterday.
From parts unknown, or you got it from the Jets?
I didn't get it from your parts unknown. I got a guy similar to parts unknown. Not your parts unknown, but a different parts unknown. We'll say that.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah. I'm not spending $200 on a Fields jersey because I may only be good for 1 year.
Yeah, no, that's why with Jet jerseys, I never pay sticker price.
I think I'm gonna get Decker one too. Decker needs a Jets jersey. Should I go?
Don't get her Fields. No, get her someone that's gonna be on the team long term. Get her a Sauce or a Garrett jersey.
I'm not getting her a Garrett jersey. Are you sure Sauce is gonna? If Sauce is gonna be here, I'll get a Gardner.
Yeah, so they're gonna pay Sauce at some point here.
All right, then I'll get her a Gardner jersey. Plus, number 1 is just a cool number, so that's a cool jersey. There's a 0% chance of getting her a Garrett Wilson jersey. 0. That's out.
You sure she's not going to get a vacuum instead?
No, my wife's got a vacuum. The vacuuming is accounted for. I want to get into a couple things. I said you're going to wake up with Sanders, and you're going to realize you have the 21st best quarterback in football. And I said that months ago.
Honestly, get her an Eric Decker jersey.
She had a Decker jersey when she was a baby. I posted pictures in Nick's Discord. She had a Decker jersey.
She's what, 8 or 9 years old now?
She's 10.
Okay, so she needs a children's size Decker jersey then.
Does a Decker jersey, like is it like a Martin jersey or a Quebec jersey? Does it read well? Like years later when that 10 years
Eric Decker, Eric Decker, I think was a very good Jet. It was a rare, solid free agent signing during the dark days of this playoff drought.
Like if I wear the Cromartie jersey, that's cool. If I wear the Tim Tebow jersey, like why the hell are you wearing that, bro? Why a Tebow jersey or a Mike Vick jersey? I saw a Mike Vick Jets jersey. I forgot he was on the Jets, man. But I wanted to talk about talking about trading down for Golden. Was that an idea?
Also, did Gary just ask if a Curtis Martin jersey reads well? And
no, I said I have a Curtis Martin jersey. I still wear it. I wore it to the Jets-Cowboys game last year.
Rick says, Jake, where do you get your jerseys? Well, Rick, one of the perks of joining my Patreon is I will share the jersey link with you. $30 Jet jerseys. Tough to beat.
Yeah, that's where I got my Xavier Gibson jersey from.
There you go.
It's good quality. It's good. It's just good. It's good. It's good.
Thomas says, it broke my heart seeing you lose, Gary. Real OG.
I appreciate that, Thomas. I appreciate that. Yeah, when all of those mail-in votes from Michigan came in, and Bonesy got 102% of all the mail-in votes in Michigan, it is what it is. It's a tough break. No, I'm just
why Michigan?
Bonesy beat me fair and square. Bonesy beat me fair and square.
Why Michigan?
Because that's where the fake votes come in from.
For Bonesy, they came in from Michigan.
So they got to come in from somewhere.
Interesting.
And he got 102% of all the mail-in ballot votes from Michigan.
I see.
Where they come in from. All right, can we talk football?
I've been talking football for an hour and a half.
All right, not with me though. Not with me though. I
Thank
thought
God.
I thought Sabo was.
Ladies and gentlemen, now the show can start. Gary is here to talk football. Go ahead, Gary.
Trading back and for Golden. First, I don't like who are people trading up for. You're seeing that they're not trading up for Shedeur Sanders. That's not happening. He's just going to follow somebody.
Unless the Saints maybe feel pressure to get a quarterback and he's their guy.
From what I heard is that they love Rattler. So I don't think they're trading up for a quarterback. And my second point to that is there are literally, I'm not joking, 6 to 7 quarterbacks better than Sanders in next year's draft. Why am I rushing to roll the dice on a quarterback who, by all accounts, and I could be wrong, looks completely mid? Like, it looks like Mac Jones who can extend plays. Like, what do I really love about Shedeur Sanders? You know what I'm saying? And no joke, there are 6 to 7 quarterbacks better than him, at least with higher upside than Shedeur Sanders. So why is anyone jumping up and hurrying to draft Sanders? It's not like if you get Sanders, now I can compete, right? It's like, so why would anyone rush to take him? I think he may fall deep into the draft. He's not that good. So the Jets trading back, I love the idea of it in theory. I just don't see it as a reality because I don't know who anyone is trading up to get. And then the last thing is, I get you guys want a number 2 receiver. I want a number 2 receiver too, but I don't see that guy at 7. I don't want to draft a number 2 receiver at 7. If I drafting a receiver at 7, I want Garrett Wilson. I want a number 1 receiver. I don't want Garrett Wilson's, Scottie Pippen. I want the superstar receiver at 7.
All right.
So to me, and I still want to know why we can't take. I've watched Banks and Golden play every single snap. I watched Banks every single snap of his whole career. They tell me that he can move around the offensive line. Now, he only played left tackle at Texas. I don't think he played 1 snap anywhere else. But they tell me that he's like AVT. They can play him at all 4 positions. If you can get a guy like that and a guy like AVT, injuries no longer become an issue. You have your line is set. It's completely set. And if guys do get injured, you can move 2 of your guys around the line seamlessly. Why is he not if that's true, and I'm not an offensive line guru, I can't tell you if that's true or not, but assuming that's true, and I've heard that from multiple scouting reports, why is he not a guy at 7 for us?
You're going to have to read the scouting report. Does he not have the prototypical size, weight, speed?
The wingspan is the concern.
Well, that's it. Now, there's certain traits NFL teams use where, like, if they don't have this, you can't take them here. That's it. And it's an inexact science because there's guys who are like Wayne Corbett who are short and have, a 12-year career in the NFL. But like that's the reality. I can't answer to that. I just know that Banks is not someone that I don't think is going to go in the top 10. But if the Jets took him in a trade back, that to me would make a lot of sense.
Outside of Sanders, because we're just like, I just don't think anyone's trading up for Sanders. I think he may go like 14 or 17, like somewhere like, but he may fall a lot, like Matt Leinart.
Like Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers, that was a mistake though. Especially when you look at the quarterback class next year. The quarterback class, everyone is going to try to trade up if Fields doesn't work out. And I'm going to believe that he does. That's why I got the jersey. It's fake it till you make it kind of thing. I'm going to convince myself that Fields is the guy. Because I think, like, if you look at Fields' upside versus Sanders' upside, it's not close. Fields is way better.
I think Fields is better now. He's going into his 5th year in the league. Or 6, would it be his fifth year?
Yeah. I think there's reason to be cautiously optimistic with Fields. If you go look at his 2nd year in the league, he was good. He wasn't kind of good. He wasn't good for a sophomore. He was just a good quarterback. And last year with the Bears was a disaster. And this year they really kept him under wraps.
His last year with the Bears, he wasn't actually terrible either. He just got hurt. He finished the year decent. Like he played, like statistically, like he wasn't awful.
But the Bears passed up on drafting Bryce Young because they thought that Fields was still the guy at that point. So that tells you what I mean. I wouldn't exactly go by what the Bears organization tells you. They're the Jets of the Midway, but like there was that kind of upside and that kind of potential. And after 2 years, if the Jets had a chance to draft Bryce Young, they would have jumped at it, right? The Bears had Fields and were like, no, we're good with Fields. So, and people, I wasn't one of them, people were super high on Bryce Young at that point. So look, there's reason to be optimistic about Fields. Like,
they screwed up because they should have taken Stroud, and they ultimately didn't evaluate the position properly.
Stroud was good. I never understood Young over CJ ever, but it is what it is. I mean, and look, Bryce Young played really, really well after he got benched. Those last few games, he played really well. So maybe ultimately they'll be right? Because he did play really well on a really bad team late in that season. And the last thing is, like, why can't we just draft a plug-and-play lineman in the second or third round?
That's been my point.
Like, why can't we just, like...
And also, I'm also making it easier for the Jets to find that plug-and-play lineman because my path is I have AVT. He could be a solid right tackle. I put him there. I think it's a lot easier to find a plug-and-play guard than a tackle anyway, and I could definitely find a plug-and-play guard in this draft.
If you can do that, let's do that. Like, I mean, why can't we just be a functioning organization for once? Draft a good receiver in round 2, a plug-and-play guard in round 3.
That's the hope. I don't know why they can't. They've had the wrong people in charge for a while. Hopefully, just like we saw the Lions eventually, they sucked worse than the Jets did, but eventually they hired Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, and they turned it around. Hopefully, the Jets got it right with Aaron Glenn and Darren Mucci. We don't know. I mean, I had my doubts because we've been beaten down. And they're first-timers, so we don't know. I would have loved at least one of these guys to have been experienced and been in the roles they're now hired to be in. But, we got to put our faith that they know what they're doing. We'll find out.
Muji and Glenn haven't hurt the Jets. They haven't screwed the Jets at all. Like, we can't give them a black eye for a fight. Glenn was a Jet, and he was terrific. So, like, let's what everyone else has done. And Pedro Martinez said this about the curse of the Bambino. He's dead and gone. They have nothing to do with this team, right? All of the horrible draft picks, all of the bad memories we have nothing to do with Glenn and Muji. So this is a new era. I don't believe in curses. This is what we got. Let's be cautiously optimistic. I mean, there's no reason to think that Glenn and Muji are going to screw things up as bad as every other regime because they had nothing to do with that regime.
That's the hope.
That's all I got.
You're happy? You talked football? You good?
I'm good.
Yeah. What do you think of Bobby boycotting the show, by the way?
Is he boycotting the show? I know he's looking for jobs and stuff. Is he boycotting? Is he sitting at home watching something else?
Been about 4 shows in a row. He hasn't called in. I think something's up.
I don't know. I got a question, though.
Yeah.
Today, it's bulk trash day, which means all the bulk goes out. I got a bunch of heavy stuff upstairs that my wife wants me to bring down. Should I just bring it down, or should I say, no, I did this last month. It's your turn. 50-50.
You want me to answer? Or you want people in the chat to answer?
Both. I want your answer and I want the chat to answer. Should I make my wife go bring down the heavy boxes?
I think you should do it because your wife is the one who drives you everywhere.
Or I should just do it because it's heavy and I'm stronger than her, so I should just carry the boxes, right?
I mean, what if she helps you? You
guys
do it. Really. You guys are married. You're partners. You're teammates. What if you do it together? Is that not an option?
I bring the garbage out. I should make her carry half the boxes, or I should just carry all the boxes myself and let her not worry about any of the boxes.
Beastbreaker says, "Oh, grow a spine, Gary."
Making my wife do the heavy lifting is growing a spine. I don't understand anything that goes on in this world anymore. I don't know. No excuses, Gary. Excuses for what? Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Why don't you carry the boxes?
I'm going to carry every box. I'm going to do it happily, and I'm going to give my wife a kiss and tell her no problem. I'm happy to move the boxes for you.
And what is she going to do for you? Probably drive you, take the kids somewhere. You're married. It's a partnership.
Yeah, it is a partnership. And I do all the heavy lifting, so she doesn't have to do any of it.
And she does all the driving because you can't drive.
Because I can't drive.
So what's your point?
Right. That it's not 50-50. That it's I do as much as I can, and what's left over, she can handle.
You do what you guys can each handle. You have a system in place. Every household, I'd imagine, is different.
Right. Like she does the vacuuming.
Great. And she does the driving, and I'm sure she does a lot of other things around the house that I'm not privy to.
I have epilepsy, and well, now my dementia's down to second stage dementia. I don't know if I can drive with that. I had third stage dementia, so you can't drive with that. And then I have epilepsy. You definitely can't drive with that, so I can't drive. That's funny, Jake? You find that funny, Jake?
No, I'm reading the comments.
Okay.
Jake wants to know who hired Morgan.
My wife hired Morgan. I came home one day, and my wife said she hired a new nanny. She showed up 2 days later, and it was Morgan.
I thought you were supposed to do all the hiring, too.
Why would I do all the hiring?
Because you're the man. You're the big, strong man. You got to do all the hiring.
This is the kid's nanny.
So she's responsible for all the kids?
Well, so it's God over man, man over wife, wife over kids. When there's a decision with the kids, I don't step in her way here. You make the decision. I married you. I picked you to be the mother of my children. I 120% trust your instincts to do right with the kid. I will never step in your way when you need to make a decision for the kid. I trust your instincts. Maternal instincts is really real. I trust all of your instincts. I'm going to let you make all the decisions with the kids. I'm going to support you 100%. I'm not going to stand in your way and argue with you. You got full reign over making decisions for the children. It's Capicola, Beast. Capicola.
Would you like to respond to Yo Holmes?
Can you put out? Not really. Not really.
No.
Not really.
Jay says stick to football debates.
Yeah. I give modern women a lot of problems. I don't cut them any slack because I don't think they're desirable. I'm going to say the same thing about modern men. I don't feel bad. I feel bad for modern women too. This is a disaster that we have here. Like it's an utter and absolute disaster. If men and women don't get together anymore, that's it, Jake. Society, civilization, humanity is done. Think about it. It's the one thing that all of society relies on, men and women getting together.
Ryan says you pick and choose your responsibility.
God chose them for me.
Barbarossa says, what is he talking about?
Nothing I said is confusing or ambiguous in any way, shape, or form, Barbarossa.
Mimosa says you picked her, she didn't pick you.
Oh, okay. I mean, I proposed to her. She picked me. Is that better? Yeah, I guess that's better. I mean, I'm the one that went up to her. I'm the one that flirted with her. I'm the one that got her number. I'm the one that called her for a date. I'm the one that proposed to her, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, I guess I pursued her and she picked me. I guess that's a better way of putting this all together.
JD says we would brawl if we met.
Okay, we can do that.
I got an email from JD after one of the shows recently, and he was very upset with one of your calls.
Okay. I mean, look, it's an opinion show. I give my takes. You give me a platform to give them, which I'm grateful for. Thank you, Jake. And if you don't agree with them, then you don't agree with them. I don't know what to tell you, right? There are 8 billion people in the world. You're not going to agree with all of them.
It's true. Nate wants to know, is there any way God's a female?
Okay, so this is insane. So God, the creator of everything, doesn't have a gender. That would be limiting. So no, he can't be a female. God, the creator of everything, who made male and female in his own likeness, is neither male nor female. That would be limiting. So God's not limited by anything. God is neither male nor female. He does like to be called father, though.
Beastbreaker says you need a new brain. You're on overload. I think he's right.
Thank you, Beast. I appreciate that, Beast. I'll duly note it. I'll consider that.
Apparently, the Bible does say he.
He says he does. He does. That's true. It says he, and he likes to be called father. But it doesn't say he is a guy. He is just an identifying term. He does like to be called father. I said that.
Interesting.
Why would God have a gender? That would be self-limiting. How could he make females in his image if he's only a male?
So you're wrong. Because it's he.
It's not even. I'm agreeing with you that it says he, and he likes to be called father. I don't understand what your point is.
Beast wants to know if you like Hot Pockets.
No. And they're always like the cheese in them always gets too hot and you burn your mouth with them. You wait 10 minutes, you're still hot. No, Hot Pockets don't eat Hot Pockets. Those are no good.
Oregon wants to know, what are your pronouns?
You can call me handsome and brilliant. Those are my pronouns. That's what you can call me, handsome and brilliant.
Alan says, my wife picked me, biggest regret of her life. Amen.
I don't think that's true, Alan. I think she picked a wonderful husband.
Tom A says, the Bible also says, thou shalt not do the vacuuming if thou has a penis.
I don't think so. Chapter and verse on that, Tom Mace. I've read the Bible probably 25 times in my life. I don't quite remember that verse, but chapter and verse, please.
Taps any button. God has no gender, but you just said he.
Yeah. I've explained this 5 times. I don't understand it. If God had a gender, it's like if he had a race, it would be self-limiting. God is limited by nothing. He's unlimited. So if he was only a male, he couldn't make females in his own likeness. Does God make male and female in his own likeness? Therefore, God has no gender.
Did God make the moon we landed on?
He made the moon. I'm pretty certain no one's landed on it. I'm fairly certain of that.
I see.
That's good, Mimosa. That's good.
Storm Rocks writes in, this is Beast. Gary is Gary, just as usual, out of space craziness.
I give my takes and either look. I got to the Final Four and I lost to the eventual champ by like 2 points. Someone out there agrees with me. That's all I'm saying.
John says, did Gary rearrange his pictures? Did you do something to the wall?
No, I just did I just moved my laptop. The pictures are in the same spot. My laptop's in a different spot.
When are you going to get a picture of us on the wall?
When you become a world, I have a picture of you.
Yeah.
When you win a world title, or like Ronnie Shields, you train 10 of them or 20 of them, whatever.
So it's only boxers. You can't have any non-boxer on the wall.
No, it's the boxing wall.
I see.
I got a picture with T-Rich. It's not on the wall.
Tony Richardson?
Yeah. I got a picture with Keldon Johnson. It's not on the wall.
Interesting.
T-Rich was cool. T-Rich was real cool. He was at a Jamel Herring fight. Jamel Herring is a boxer from Long Island. And Herring reached out to him and said that you were my favorite Jet. And so Richardson was in town for some September 11th tribute. So we just stayed and went to Herring's fight in New York.
Indy says your football takes are bad, but this is worse.
What's worse? Only have the pictures, or are you talking about my take that God made male and female, which in his own likeness? Which take is he referring to?
Nick Shine says, so Gary gets a picture with Bonesy and it goes up, world champs. Oh, that's true. If you and Bonesy took a picture together, you'd have to put that up. He is a world champion.
I don't have to, because this is not exhaustive. I have pictures of other world champions that didn't make the wall.
I think you and Bonesy.
Space for Duran. I got to get Roberto Duran up on the wall, but I already had all the pictures up before I got the Duran, the picture with Duran.
I think you need a photo, you and Bonesy on the wall. I think it's only fair.
He is a because this is not, we call it a national championship, but clearly it's a world championship. It's world championship more than the World Series is. There were lots of countries involved. There was a world title.
Yeah, it's an international championship. I mean, we had people from all over the globe that were eligible.
You get callers from everywhere. Brazil, Finland, right? Finland? It's Finland.
Midtown Manhattan.
The only thing better than Alden shoes is Joey D. Cozy totally rules. Jake, my brother, I'm high as a kite. I love everybody. Damn, this show is crazy.
Gary, man, you gotta get us on the wall, bro.
You now it's just a matter of politics. What are you willing to get on the wall? But you've met the qualifications to be on the wall. You are a world champion.
And I have multiple pictures of me and you. So if you need one, just let me know.
The champ is
all
here,
the mail-in
baby.
ballots in Michigan that came in for you in the last minute to get you that.
Yeah, you keep saying that, my man.
I'm kidding.
I know it's all fun, man. How do you feel about Will Howard? Joe Bonesy's dying to know Gary's take on Will Howard.
He was horrible in the combine. Where do you want to take him? Like, I wouldn't like. You want to take
probably. I would say either day 3, beginning of day 3. I mean, if someone's really big on him, maybe end of day 2, late 3rd round.
No. Is McCord gone? Because I would much rather have McCord than Will Howard. I get why people like him, his size and stuff. He threw so bad that at the combine, Quinn threw next. And people thought Quinn was good just because in comparison to how bad Will Howard was. Like, I don't really like if you take him in the 6th round, I don't really care. As long as McCoy.
Damn, 6 rounds late. I mean,
I don't want him. It's just another wasted pick like Jordan Travis. I said when they drafted Jordan Travis, he'll probably never step foot on the field. And he's not gonna make it. They're gonna draft another quarterback in day 3 probably, and that's gonna be the 3rd string quarterback. And unless they love Travis is gonna be gone. And he'll never have played a meeting down the Jets. He never even practiced with the Jets.
Joe Bonesy watched the John Gruden Will Howard breakdown, and now Joe Bonesy's sold on Will Howard, wants him on day 3.
So, I did like that breakdown by Gruden. It was awesome.
I love Gruden, man. It just makes it fun.
If Gruden loves him, if Gruden sees something in him, we should have hired Gruden. But that's really not the point. But like, okay, then maybe he's worth like I love Joe Milton, right? Like I would say I wouldn't draft him the first 2 days, but if you're sitting there, you want to take a quarterback in round 3 that you want to roll the dice on. Joe Milton's a hell of a guy to roll the dice on. If you feel that way about Will Howard, I wouldn't hate it. I'm just saying, like, be prepared that pick probably isn't going to work out.
Yep. Well, I love my my fellow Goomba, Neil. He's a goat. He's an Italian stallion. But my goodness, I will definitely. I am not in the Shedeur Sanders at 7. I could not see us using a pick on a quarterback when we have so many holes, and with how, if I'm going to believe anything that Aaron Glenn says, moving forward, if he was to draft Shedeur, I mean, it's either the biggest sell and, ever, or he's just completely full of shit. Because if you want to believe what Aaron Glenn is preaching, he is all in on Justin Fields and fixing Justin Fields and him being our franchise quarterback. And he believes in him, and that's his thing. And if we were really to draft Shedeur, I couldn't imagine, like, if we draft Shedeur, you might as well act like Justin Fields is going to fail immediately. I mean, you're going to put Dion and co behind that, that type of pressure on Fields. I mean, you're setting the man up to fail. Not that I am a 100% believer in Fields, but I do believe in his ability. And obviously, we all know coaching is so important in this day's game. Just like Jake mentioned earlier, like they saved Goff. They made Goff almost a Super Bowl caliber quarterback who actually, he's Goff has failed in some big moments and stuff, but they took another man's trash and made him good. That was a great, saving for Goff's play. And I don't know. I can't wrap my head around. We have so many holes. My head's not. I love Neil's passion, and he's so, he doesn't want to wait. He needs instant success because he always says he's running out of time, even though he's a young man. But I can't even get my head down that path. I can't even pretend to. Especially you didn't want Rodgers and all that noise. You're gonna bring in Dion and Shedeur. I mean, come on. He keeps bringing up his completion percentage too, and Shedeur was a dink and dunk guy. So I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. The completion percentage in college is really like, what was Tim Tebow's completion percentage in college? Probably really, really high, 65%. Like, what does that mean, right? Like, if you were to tell me one of these 2 quarterbacks is going to be a top 10 quarterback 3-4 years from now, Shedeur Sanders or Justin Fields, I'm like, wow, they got Fields to work out. Unbelievable. Right? There's no way. Like, there's no upside. I see no upside. Like, you want a comp for Shedeur Sanders? Mac Jones, who can extend plays, but he doesn't run. He could run, but chooses not to. Kind of like Zach Wilson, like he's not going to run. I don't like. What do you think? Like, I don't see any great attributes at all in Sanders. He makes pretty good decisions, but like, other than that,
he takes care of the football, right? And he played with a bad offensive line and showed some guts because he's not really a mobile quarterback, but. I don't know. I'm just scared of Dion too, and with the holes we have and how much we've invested in Fields in terms of not from a contract standpoint, from just what he said and how we're building the team around Fields. I couldn't see. I would just completely not believe anything Glenn said moving forward because with all the eggs he put in the Fields basket, I couldn't see him then drafting Shador at 7.
Yeah, they already named him the starter. They didn't do the competition mantra, which they did for every other position. They paid him $30 million guaranteed, which I think was a sign of like, you're the guy. We believe you. Pittsburgh was like dragging their feet, like they wanted him, but maybe they didn't want to pay him as much. And the Jets were like, you're our guy. Here's the offer. We believe in you. I'd be shocked if they took a quarterback at 7. I really would.
It's like a Tua situation. Like, look at how bad Tua was, especially mentally. After and then McDaniel gets there, says, "You're my guy. I've been waiting for someone like you." And then look at what Tua's done. I mean, he hasn't been spectacular, but he's been. I mean, he's led the #1 offense every time he's healthy. So it's just shows you how important coaching is. And got to believe what Glenn's preaching, that Fields is the guy. There's no way. I couldn't see it happening. It would be out of left field, and it would be completely against the grain of what he's been preaching. So I just, from then on out, I wouldn't believe anything Glenn said if we drafted Shador.
Gentlemen, I got to run. We got some people left, and we're already at 2 hours. But I appreciate both of you.
Love you guys. Cannolis for life.
Here we go.
Oh, my bad, everybody.
Oh, yeah. Charles Gorman will be at the draft party. And if you missed the big announcement, he has agreed to wear Asmaniac underwear. He will then sign it, and we will raffle it off. Authenticated, game-worn, autographed Charles Gorman underwear. Potential skid mark included as well. Taps any button with a super chat. Am I the only one who likes Dylan Gabriel? I think he's being overlooked because of his size. He's better than most of the quarterbacks in this year's draft. I spoke with a former NFL GM about Dylan Gabriel. I won't say who, because this person still works for the team. And his evaluation was, if he was taller, he'd be a first-round pick. So you're not alone there. Taps any button. More of your calls right now. I wouldn't mind him on a day 3 pick. You're taking a dart throw at that point. All right, let's rapid fire through a couple remaining people, then we'll end with some heavy hitters. Jack talks Jets. Hello, Jack.
Hey, Jake. How you doing, man?
No school today? Is it spring break?
Yeah, I have spring break right now.
Love it.
And so, I know this was about 30 minutes ago, but Neil's call and Neil's take about Shador Sanders might be one of the worst takes I've ever seen on this show, because you don't take a chance. I think I said this a couple times in the chat, right? You don't take a chance at someone at 7. You don't take a shot at someone. You don't believe that you can make them into a star. You have to take a guy at 7 that can be a star, right? Because we did this thing where we took a chance with Zach Wilson. We took a chance with Zach Wilson number 2. We took a chance with Mekhi Becton in the first as well, right? And look where they ended up. They ended up getting out of New York within a few years. We have to get a guy in this draft who we know will be a starter. We know that will be here past his 4 years with the Jets, can maybe even sign a 5th-year deal and a long-term deal with the Jets. We cannot sign a guy. I can't emphasize this enough. We can't draft a guy that you take a chance on. You just can't.
You got to believe him. You got to think, if you're taking him at 7, he's got to be a franchise quarterback. You think you're getting, not hey, it's a chance. We think you might be good, but we're not. No, you think this guy is going to be a franchise quarterback.
Yes, of course, right? And that's why I believe we take Tyler Warren at 7 here, because I know it's what's the saying I'm looking for? Where someone says it over and over again, whatever. But you know what I mean. But anyway, I think this guy, I guess, yeah. But I guess this guy, right, Tyler Warren, is some kid that I know can be a starter for at least more than 4 years in the NFL with the Jets, right? I've seen his attributes, love his contested catch, right? Love his ability, just love his athleticism in general. And I think that I believe that he is a true starter for the Jets. And I don't think if the Jets were to take a quarterback in this draft, you take him in the 3rd or 4th. A guy like Will Howard, who's already played in a NFL-style offense at Ohio State, or a guy like Kyle McCord in Syracuse. Some people say Jalen Milroe as well. I mean, I could see them going Jalen Milroe if you really think about it, right? Because if the Jets run a run-first offense here, Milroe is very mobile. So why take a quarterback in the 4th round who is completely different from your starting quarterback this season and is not mobile? I feel like I could see where a lot of people are coming from when they want Miller, because you take 2 guys, that's less of diverse coaching here, right? Because you take Milroe, a mobile guy, you teach him and Fields the same exact things together, right? Because they're both mobile quarterbacks. And if you get a quarterback in the 1st round, let's say Garrett Nussmeier, if Justin Fields does not work out, you take Nussmeier next year in the 1st. There you go. Answer solved.
I'm with you. You don't force it. If there's someone they like on day 2 or day 3, it's a different conversation. It's not as risky. Mm-hmm. But you don't force it. I think they evaluated the quarterbacks, and that's why they ended up the way they did with Fields.
Of course, yeah. All right, Jake. Thank you so much for having me on today.
Jack, are you excited for the draft party?
I'm excited. Yeah, I think I'll take like a train. That'll be like a 25-minute train ride. So it'll be an easy way home, easy way there. Can't wait to see Charles Gorman with that underwear, man.
Gorman will be there. The Midnight Bros. Could be a who's who.
All right, Jake. You have a nice day, man.
Jack, you got it. Jack will be at the party. So will Connor Long. So will Chris G. The Next Gen Jets. Their podcast, they started because all three of them were just callers to this show. And they'll meet in person for the first time at the draft party. How cool is that? All right, a few left. Pork of the morning. What do you got for us?
Hey, Jake, what's up? The dart tournament didn't work out as I planned it to. We went 2-2. Started off slow. Lost the first match. Crushed it the next two matches, and then we lost on the last throw in the last game. But, yeah, people were talking about our coaching like the last few seasons. It really sucked.
Yeah.
These coaches were a joke. I thought Robby Sabo was a joke. He was more like a doormat to me. He's a player's coach. And when I hear that, that means there's no discipline in the locker room. You know, being a military guy, if you're leading men into combat, you don't want a fucking pussy that you could push around. You know what I mean? You don't need a pliable head coach. You see what I mean? Or anybody. You need guys like Bill Parcells and, you know, Mike Dickey. You need some of that, but not all of it. You know what I mean? You need some bravado and some guts, you know, to tell men what to do and be assertive. And I don't think Sala really had that. I mean, he looked the part. He looked like Xerxes from 300, but he really didn't act like him. So
it was very fraudulent because the guy we thought we were getting was that guy, right? That fiery guy.
Yeah.
The guy's accountable. His first thing he says at the press conference, all gas, no brakes, going to coach the whole team, you know, CEO of the whole operation. And like, he's just, to me, he's a really good DC. He's proven that. He's just a very, Joe Beningo always said this, and I think he turned out to be right. I just think Salah's just a nice guy. He's just maybe just too nice of a guy, you know?
Yeah, you have to have some type, you know, you have to have a little, I don't know how to put it, but, you know, to be a head coach.
Aaron Glenn, it just sounds like he's got more of an edge, you know, more of a chip on his shoulder, like, you know.
Yeah. You have to want it. I mean, you have to. There's a fire inside, basically, and you have to have that fire to be a head coach or a player. Really, I mean, it's just something about competition and, you know, putting that fire in people. You know, I'm fired up. I'm about to go hit the gym. So,
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? I love football. I mean, I guess you guys know that football is my life. I breathe it. I live it. It's the essence, you know.
Hell yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, you're going to the gym. Let me bring in a guy that knows all about fitness, knows all about pump-up speeches. Let's get the blood going. Let's get you going for this gym.
All right.
Good morning, there.
No gas, no brakes. What's up, Beast?
I like that name, Pork of the Morning, but at the bottom, the Bacon Knight.
That's right. I am the Bacon Knight.
2-2, huh?
Yeah.
That's not bad. Hey, think of it this way: 2-2. That's not bad of a start, but you'll get there someday. 4-0 is not not like everybody gets it. It's just like saying, hey, take your time, relax, get it next time. Don't worry about it. But if you want to work on something, why don't you start off with getting these going? You know, get the abs going, and then get this six-pack thing of it going. Because I'm starting to work on it right now as we speak. And I like that quote there. We need men with an attitude. Yeah, I'll give you an example. Vince Lombardi, he had balls.
Yeah.
Beast, I wanted you to give him a pump-up speech for the gym.
Not.
Well, for the gym, if he wants to stay in shape, you gotta work on this and work on this and stay powerful. Stay like a hungry man and just go in there and grind and eat. You know, it's like you want to look good, stay fit, stay lean, stay mean, and stay tough. But for football quotes, Ditka, Parcells, and Lombardi are the big three. They're the best three in the world today. And 50 years from now, we're going to look back at these guys and we're going to tell them, hey, these were the men that made football look great. Not today's little boys. They don't have the stamina. Okay, I'll give you an example. Lombardi's up here. Parcells up here. Dicka over Lombardi. You know why? He was scary to put up with. He'd look you in the eye and be like, why didn't you get that goddamn ball when I tell you? You know what I mean by that?
Would you silence, or should I do one of these?
I think you're ready to work out, Pork.
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't too much of a fiery speech, you know. I mean, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to go run through. You know, I'm not ready to go run through a trench, blow up some Bangalores, and take on the Nazis. You know what I mean? It's you know, I'm just going for pretty much a light shoulder and back workout. I mean, I'm not really looking to kill myself today.
I see.
So, you know, it's a lunch workout. So, you know, working from home, you only get so much time to do, you know, get out and do things. My nightlife, I play darts, I play pool, I chase big-breasted women. I mean,
nice.
That's what men do. That's
to the darts I'm referring to, obviously.
Well, yeah. I mean, sometimes I get distracted. I mean, it happens to men from time to time. I mean, I have a lot of kids. I mean, I got 3 grandkids.
Wow.
Yeah. 3 of them. 5, 4, and 2. So, yep. Now, I never told you guys this. I ran a football league for kids for about 5 years. I was the treasurer and CFO. We had 16 teams, over 4 counties. We were one of the only leagues that don't have a weight limit in the whole country. So we have our own Super Bowl at the end of the year. It's very exciting. So I'll keep you guys updated on the next season. I mean, I still keep up with it and everything. It's called Tri-County Youth Football. It's in Schuylkill County, Pennsylvania. Awesome time. So I had an awesome time doing it. So coaching is awesome. If you guys could do it and help youth, I would recommend you do.
Pork, great call, man. Have a good day.
You too, guys. Have a good one.
Appreciate you. Great call by Pork in the morning there. A couple things to clarify here. So DFS Savant says Beastbreaker looks like the Boar's Head logo. Beast is now officially on the record. He writes in, I'm not Boar's Head. So for anyone confusing Beast for the Boar's Head logo, stop immediately. He's putting that to bed. Ladies and gentlemen, we've questioned where this guy has been. We were wondering, where is Bobby Midnight? That's been something many have asked in the chat. And I said, I don't know. But I do know this. He's officially back.
Hi, everybody. This is Bob from Vermont. I am Bob, of course. Good afternoon, Jake. The last 2 days, guess what I did in the morning? I got off my fat ass and walked outside. I wasn't boycotting, so I have to get healthy, you know?
Yeah.
This weather has been good. It's 65 degrees both days, so
I
gotta get my fat ass out there, you know? I don't need my walking pad anymore. I go right outside.
You should watch the show on your phone then. You have YouTube.
Yeah, I got YouTube. I could do that. Next
Put
time
headphones in, take the show on the go. Nate rides his bike with the show on all the time.
Yeah, I could walk. I was in the hospital. I called in.
Yeah, that was great.
So I wasn't boycotting like people said. And I read a few comments that other people made. So make your comments to yourself, okay? I don't need you guys in my life. Okay?
Go fly a kite.
Mm-hmm. Or play with your trains.
Yep.
So, yeah, I feel a lot healthier.
You ready for the draft party, Bobby?
Yes, we're going to the draft party.
I got your ticket.
Yep, Michael's too.
Yep.
Yep, Michael, thanks you. He wants to know if you have any other more tickets.
I just have for you two.
No, I know, no left.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's still some left.
How many do you know?
I don't have the exact number off the top of my head.
I'll call Michael up and tell him his friends want to come down too.
Oh, well, they should get a ticket. That'd be great.
Maybe if they come down, we could, if they drive down, we don't have to take the train down.
Yeah.
That would be great. And we just pay for the hotel. We could, well, for sure.
Hell yeah.
I don't know if they want to sleep in bed together.
Now, I have an idea. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Why don't we just ask Mikey himself?
Hello, I'm Mikey. I'm Bobby's little bro. Have you seen Jade Graves? She's so beautiful. I love my boy Jake, but not in a gay way. I am so happy. I'm not gonna touch anything, I promise.
Hi, Mike.
Mikey, you're on mute, Mikey.
Yes, he's on mute. His webcam's coming in.
Is he on his new computer?
No, not yet. His web, I put it.
Got it.
Now we can't see him, but we can hear him. Hey, don't
You
touch
hear me?
anything. Stay right there. Yes.
Mikey.
You hear me?
Yes.
Mike.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Yes.
Yeah, Bob. Yes, Bob. What you want? You want some of my friends come down?
You said 2 of your friends want to come down. Ex Jake, he got the tickets. Can they drive us down there?
Well, I had to
Do
tell
they have a
them
car?
if they still want to go.
Do they have
I
a
had to
car?
ask them. I had to ask
Do they have a
them.
car?
I had to ask them first.
Okay, ask them. I thought they asked you first.
Yeah, they want to go, but I don't know what the schedule is. That's the problem.
Well, find out then.
I got the day off, though. I got the day off.
Yeah, well, if they don't come, we're still coming. We'll take the train out.
Yeah, we could take the plane. We could take the train down. I mean,
What are you doing after the draft party, Jake?
Game Friday?
What are you doing after the party?
I'm going to the strip club with Charles Gorman.
And what about Friday?
No, Nick's gonna drive them home. They heading down to Atlantic City.
Yeah, I'm going.
Friday, Bobby.
Oh, you going to Atlantic City too? Well, we were gonna offer to help clean up your stuff after you finish the show. We could help you pack up and all.
Yeah, we'll help you, Jake. We love you, Jake. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
You going to game on Friday with the Yankees? Bobby?
Well, that was my suggestion. If me and Michael are going to be left alone in New York because most of them are.
I am not going to the Yankee game because I'll be live doing my live stream during the second and third round that night, which starts at probably, I think it's 7.
Oh, right. That's true. I forgot you did.
I'll be working.
We probably go to see you then.
Oh, yeah. He wants us to visit his apartment.
Oh, yeah, baby.
You would let us?
I'll give you guys the tour, sure.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
What does
it has to be before the show though, because I gotta get ready for the stream that night.
Right, yeah, we could do whatever you want to do.
Yep.
Yeah, we could do that.
We figure out Thursday. Hey, Bobby, I got Thursday and Friday off.
Right, that's good.
You should go to the Plaza Hotel like it's Home Alone.
Yeah.
Do you know how much that cost? Because
what's a walk-in? It's free to walk in.
Where are you gonna have your thing?
I'm having the party at Clinton Hall. I'm just saying.
I know that. Yeah, I'm gonna stay in Manhattan.
Yeah, the Plaza Hotel's in Manhattan.
There's a hotel next to Penn Station, right?
Yeah, not far.
32.
There's a lot of hotels.
Nate's not too far. Hell's Kitchen. You're gonna be in Hell's Kitchen, right? You're gonna be in Hell's Kitchen, right?
No, the event is in Midtown.
So where's Hell's Kitchen from there?
Hell's Kitchen is not far from Penn Station, but I don't know what that has anything to do with.
Well, that's where mostly the hotels are looked up.
Oh, well, yeah, it's not far. You can stay at a hotel in Hell's Kitchen, you'll be fine.
Okay, how far is that?
What about the,
not far. You're from New York, Bobby. You don't know this?
Well, we don't go. We stayed in Queens and the Bronx, so I was too young to go.
There's plenty of hotels.
Was because of Michael.
Plenty of hotels.
Hey,
yeah, I know. I looked it up on.
You know who number 1 7 pick is? Number 1 and 7th round pick is.
Who are they taking, Mikey? Give us a pick.
Warren. That's what.
Yeah, we want Warren. I want Warren.
All right.
But he could block. They say he could block, and then we could get the other guy from Oregon State, the offensive tackle. The guy who I like.
Hey, Mikey, what are you wearing to the draft party? You gonna wear the suspenders look?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I go with your hat.
He usually wears suspenders.
I got the button you gave me too. I got the button. I got
wear the suspenders and the button. That'd be a great look. With the jet hat, that will kill
Make
with the
sure you bring the fireman ahead hat too.
Yeah, I am. I go with this hat Jake gave me.
And then the other one, so you could get.
Yeah, fireman Ed. He's gonna be there.
Yeah.
What about Kevin James? He gonna be there?
No. But,
All right, it's a mystery. The
It's a
fireman
mys-
Ed will be there.
Yeah, I know.
Hey,
but the other one.
I like fireman Ed. Fireman Ed. Yeah.
They're beautiful today, Michael.
I
65 today.
And Gary, I agree with Gary about
Yeah.
God, because God had a son named Jesus. God is a guy, not a girl. If it was a girl.
Well, he did say that. He did not. Gary did not say that about God.
Well,
said,
he said God. God is a guy.
no,
We
he's
all know
not.
that.
He's nothing. He's not male or female.
It's a spirit. It's a spirit. It's a spirit.
Oh no!
Bobby Midnight and Mikey Midnight in the building 9 days from now, Clinton Hall. We do have some tickets left. They could go by the end of the week. Once we sell out, that's it. I'd offer more, but we got a fire code issue potentially. So click the link in the description. It'll be the pinned comment. It's been everywhere. I've made it easy to find. It's my link in my Twitter bio. It's the link in my Instagram bio. Just click the link. It's going to ask you for your name and your email. You click that, then you lock in your ticket. It takes 2 minutes, if that. Not even. Gonna be great. Gonna be great. Can't wait. Looking forward to Ed being there, leading the Jet Chain all night. It's gonna be wild. All right, fun show, long show. We're back probably around 4. That is the plan. Dylan Terraman's going to join us. Jet Nation Live. Big time Asmaniac as well. He's always in the chat with us. So I think Dylan will be great. So I'm definitely looking forward to having him on the show. My name is Jake Asman. You know that if you've been watching for the last 2 hours and change. Thank you all. Please hit the subscribe button. Please like the video. Spread the word to your fellow Jet fans. This is the place to be year-round, twice a day, every day for New York Jets daily content. Love you all. Go Jets. And, of course, we will see you in just 9 days at the draft party. Let's go.
You know what time it is? Yeah. Come on, everybody. Let's do some aerobics. 1, 2, 3, 4. Move that body up that floor. Right, left. Let's go. Come on. Pick that up. Let's get some arms going. Get some stretches going. Come on. 9, 10. Come on, baby. Yeah, you can move your body. Come on, everybody. Get up and do some exercise. Let's go. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Come on.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I feel great. Come on, let's get some of that up there. What are you laughing at, B-Man? Pick those arms up, kid. Come on, what are you, a whipper or man? I'll give you that first, son.
Oh, shit, that wasn't B-Max. That was Kevin.
Let's get fucking like a monkey. Come on, girls, you guys can do this. 6.
Really?
Let's see if you guys can do it. Come on, pick it up. This muscle helps shake the muscle.
I'm feeling the burn. Let's go. Come on.
Okay, now the other side. Come on. Man, I feel good.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
I'm eating. Beast, you can't out-exercise a bad diet, bro.
You have to look good. You gotta be lean. You gotta be mean.
You gotta have some weights in there.
You wanna be scary, don't you?
No, right? Doing the air.
Have this. Have this. Next caller, let's go. Let's get Bobby Midnight in here. Let's bring him in here. Hey, yo, move and groove. Let's move and groove, shall we? Move your ass. Let's go. 1.
Get your movement! Get your ass up! Get
Great job, Beast. Way to inspire people to get healthy on a Saturday.